It is day 4 at the Wisconsin State Fair. Welcome into the program, and that's where we're live at today at the Goose Island Ale House inside the Bud Pavilion and the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds. Going to be back. Bill Michaels Show on the air. If you want to get a hold of us, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. The text line open. We've got the emails, which is thebillmichaels@gmail.com, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. You can email us there. You can go to the website, thebillmichaels.com. We're on X, @Bill_Michaels, @Bill_Michaels. You can find us over on, that's on X or Twitter. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and all that kind of good stuff. And if you want to track us down in those areas as well, go ahead and do so. We are glad to be back, though. Back at the Wisconsin State Fair and back from vacation. So I'm happy and excited about that. And I'll tell you the trials and tribulations of vacation coming up here shortly. Grant Bill's off today. Austin intern, who is coming up, had his evaluation coming up in the last few days of interning. Austin, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back in the land that serves wonderful, wonderful food. And when it comes to the state fair and everything on a stick, but I cannot eat it. Did you? Now, were you in the studio when I spoke with Ebo a little bit earlier today?
I was not.
Yeah, it was. I had a great vacation. It was good to go and see Sunday Night Baseball. Have you ever stood next to Aaron Judge? Holy crap, that guy's big. Holy mackerel. We went to the Red Sox-Yankees game on Sunday night and saw Aaron Judge up close and personal, and man, that guy's a mountain of a human being. Holy, I always knew he was big. I think he's like 6'8", but that's a big dude, man. But I got a chance to see my first, home run knocked over the green monster out of Fenway, and then a couple of balls were played off the wall, one home run up into the net. Yankees beat the hell out of the Red Sox, but it was just good to see baseball in that venue and sit in those historic old seats. It was a great experience there. Went to Gillette Stadium and went through the Patriots Hall of Fame and did some stuff over at Patriots Camp, which was kind of cool. And then a lot of stuff in Newport and some beaches and food and seeing where the people that have just unbelievable, massive amounts of money and disposable income that's incredible to bring over their yachts and their boats. And it was fun. It was a good trip. So there you go. But nevertheless, that was fun, but it's good to be back. And I'll tell you what, I left. Grant and I were texting yesterday, and I left, and wow, the Brewers are sitting at 500 since the All-Star break at I think 7-7, if I did my math correctly. The Packers, obviously, Jordan Love gets signed to that massive contract extension. I was reading, you've got 2 or 3 hamstring injuries that are being nursed right now in Packers camp. Nothing, spectacular. I saw the battle between Jair and Dontavian Wicks in the end zone on family night, and the John going back and forth, and the competitiveness between the defense and the offense, which I really liked. I mean, I know people want to see their guys be kumbaya, but you want guys fighting. That's what you want, because you're going to be a team once the regular season starts. Right now, you're just fighting for your job. You're fighting for your position, and you're fighting for the guys on the side of the line you work with. So that was good to see. In the meantime, though, then again, it could be worse because you could be White Sox, who have not won a game since I think Moses was small. What are they now, 20 straight or 21 straight games?
20 straight, yeah.
They've lost?
First time since 1988, I believe I saw this morning.
They're losing games in just weird ways. Crazy. Just crazy. So anyway, that being said, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things happening. Ebo asked me earlier today, am I concerned about the Brewers? I'm concerned about the Brewers, but I'm not concerned where it's over. Like when I left, my concern for some of the things that had gone on since the All-Star break and some of the players that weren't really living up to what they started with at the beginning of the season, such as Contreras. Contreras, by the way, in the month of June, hit .218. You talk about, he not only cooled off, he fell off the table. He's hitting .230 over the last, I think it's, few weeks or something like that, but man, he's fallen off big time. Obviously the blow of Christian Yelich, even though he's back, he was down for a little while, but the good news was that it's not going to be like season ending surgery or anything like that. So that's a little bit of good news, but I thought the Brewers would make more of a splash. I was texting with some friends over some people that I know that know the situation over there. And they didn't do anything big. They really there was a palpable feeling that they were going to do something and make a splash, and they didn't. They didn't really do that. And so I want to deal with that coming up here in a little bit. Obviously, and Michigan's under investigation again. Those are your Michigan Wolverines there, Austin. So did they figure they'll give what's the head coach's name again?
Sharon Moore.
Sharon, thank you very much. I kept wanting to say Shane, but I knew that wasn't it. Sharon Moore. They gave him the job. Do you think they gave him the job and say, hey, thanks for deleting everything, so dropping a hammer on us won't be so bad. So this job's going to be yours, and it'll be here when you come back from suspension. But it seems like they're going to drop the hammer on him, doesn't it?
Yeah, he might be the fall guy for this season. I don't think, from what I've seen, they're not going to vacate anything, but it's just he's probably going to get pretty big suspension for this season. Yep,
he is. He's going to get. He's going to feel the boot.
Yeah,
they're going to kick him a little bit.
We could see why Harbaugh left.
Right.
Pretty sure he got an offer. Is like, I'm done dealing with the NCAA.
Right. So they're going to get hammered, at least head coaching wise. Now, last year when Harbaugh took his mini stint, nothing happened. It was like, yawn, who cares? And he did a good job against Ohio State. So Harbaugh wasn't even there coaching a team when they ended up knocking off the Buckeyes. But nevertheless, I mean, it's going to be a kick to the groin over there in Ann Arbor for sure. Not that I'm crying a river for him, but I saw that coming out today. So other than that, we just got a whole bunch of stuff from Packers training camp. We've got stuff. Mike Clemens is going to join us in the final hour. Final hour of the program. Mike Clemens is going to be here on site. And again, if you're looking for us, we're at the inside the Bud Pavilion at the Goose Island Ale House at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. So if you want to come over and say hello, we're behind the glass in our studio that they built here for us a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So I love this place. Love being here, but I can't have food yet. And I'll tell you, like I said, I can't eat yet. So it was kind of a weird experience on the trip, and I'll tell you more about that coming up. But that being said, anything on a stick, come on by, say hello, grab yourself a beverage. They do fresh and specific keg tappings every day here inside the Goose Island Ale House. Some different type of beverage, different type of brew. They bring in a couple kegs for it every year. Each day is different. So each day it's a different type of ale that they're tapping, and the line is usually starting about, noon, starts to get out the door. But people love this stuff. So come on by and say hello. We're going to be here all day until a little after 2 o'clock hanging out and then tearing down the set afterwards. And we're back here each and every day this week. So looking forward to all of that. What has stood out, if anything, Austin, to you about Packers training camp? Any big news?
I think Rashawn Gary has gotten the biggest headlines for being the best performer so far. So it looks like the D-line is very good. And then it seems like every receiver is having their moments, which is something I think we expected, but it's reassurance that we have a very good receiving core. I
did CBS radio on Friday night, and I did the Jody Mack show. And one of the things that we talked about and discussed was the wide receiving core. Like, how can Jordan Love be this good and not have a Pro Bowler as a receiver? And the argument I made is that you don't, who knows? I mean, maybe Reed or Romeo Dobbs or Dontavian Wicks or Christian Watson, who knows? Maybe somebody turns into a Pro Bowler. But to not have any Pro Bowlers and to be that good in the second half of the season, the thing that I allude to is only you don't have to have a guy who is great all the time. What you have to have is a collection of guys who make great plays. And then you can have greatness. And don't forget, I mean, they also, at the end of the year, they had 2 viable tight ends. They had a really solid running game behind Jordan Love. But the fact that they don't have that, they don't have, Devontae Adams. They don't have that guy. They don't have a Tyreek Hill type of guy. They don't have that guy. What they have is a collection of really good guys. And as long as one guy gets open, now people want to very quickly jump to 2010, 2011, when it was Jordy and it was Greg and it was James and it was Donald. Then they brought in Randall Cobb the following year. And you can go through that whole laundry list of really good wide receivers that they had. It's not that same level. You don't have that level of Pro Bowlers yet, but it kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like they're going to throw 3 guys at you, plus a tight end. Somebody's going to be open, because they've got that kind of talent. I don't see many teams and many secondaries covering everyone, because Wicks is having a camp. Romeo Dobbs has made catches. You know, Christian Watson, obviously, they've really monitored that hamstring and tried to be careful with him, and he's made some over-the-shoulder catches. They look like downfield throws have gotten a little bit better from Jordan Love. It's like there's a lot of things there that seem like they're working, and they don't have to have Pro Bowlers to be great. Just make great plays. And I really like the offense. I'm excited to see what it is they're going to do. I know, there were some people that were texting me during family night saying, hey, did you see this and that? I didn't. Admittedly, I haven't even looked at that video that I recorded yet. But I'm just excited about the competition and the identity. Does it seem like the identity is like, we're not taking your crap? We're not taking any crap, both from the defense, the offense, the defensive front, like you said, has gotten better. The wide receivers look good. The secondary, I know Jair was taking some crap on social media, and people were saying, but you're not seeing him here every day. You're not seeing him here in practice. And you saw a little bit of the fight and the tenaciousness that he had. It just seems like things right now, for the most part, short of some of the nagging hamstring injuries, are good. I think everything's good. There's no drama. There's nothing I miss drama-wise other than the fact that Jordan Love is back at camp and he's like a massively, massively rich man right now. There's nothing else that's happened at camp that slipped under the radar on me, is there?
I do not believe so, no.
There you go.
I think it's just, Jordan Love got paid. Aaron Rodgers tried to sell his house to him. That didn't happen.
Yeah, I did see that. That was like, come on, man.
That's about it. This team's just going through the motions, getting ready for the season.
Yep, no doubt. It's I'm excited. I'm ready. They're going to see the Cleveland Browns coming up this weekend, so all is right with the world. And when we're sitting here at the Wisconsin State Fair, and the weather's not. You know what's really cool about today is that it's overcast and a good breeze. You could get a shower later on this afternoon or something, but right now, man, people are strolling all over the place. It's not hot. It's just like the perfect temperature to come in and walk around. If it does rain, they've got a lot of massive indoor complexes, including the Bud Pavilion here. By the way, speaking of that, also, if you're going to come to the Wisconsin State Fair, go say hi to Greg and the guys from Burn Pit Barbecue, one of our good sponsors. They right now are over inside the Expo Center. I saw them setting up a little bit earlier today, bringing in more and more product. But I keep telling people that a lot of our sponsors that do some of the smaller stuff, really solid small business owners, they're over inside the Expo Center. But I know Burn Pit Barbecue's over there. Go in and tell them, Greg and the gang, we said hi, and tell them you're listening and to come over here and say hello as well over inside the Goose Island Ale House. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and I want to talk Brewers. I want to talk Packers. I want to get your thoughts, your concerns, your heartaches, things that you look to the positive side of things, like, I don't know, we'll say like Colin Ray's on the hill tonight. Maybe he's going to throw well. Reese Hoskins is hitting the ball a little bit better, but you do have some other guys that are struggling, and it's tough right now. So sitting at 5, we said if they played 500 ball from here on out, they're still going to end up with 90 wins. I think it's going to be 92 or 93 wins. But nevertheless, I still think the Brewers are going to be the team to beat in the Central. I'm not biting my nails yet, and my level of concern on 1 through 10 being extremely concerned, I'm sitting at about a 4. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, I'm Jeff Levering alongside Gina Della from Pella.
Thanks, Jeff. How do you say welcome?
With a new entry door from Pella.
Say it with color.
Like baseball bat oak or foul pole yellow?
Say it with class.
Like following players' unwritten baseball rules.
With clarity.
Like a no-doubter shot off the scoreboard.
Or with confidence.
Like an overachieving first-place team who experts predicted would be below average this season.
Before saying welcome with your new entry door from Pella, secure an incredible deal.
Like a ruthless baseball player's agent. Here's the deal you cannot pass up.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
That's the ball game. A Pella walk-off.
Your new entry door from Pella is installed and warranted by Pella for years of comfort and durability.
Don't miss out on 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
Schedule your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 8/31/2024.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes.
The 17th annual Big Unit Poker Run, the largest annual motorcycle ride in the state of Wisconsin, will take place on Sunday, September 1st. The ride benefits veterans, military members, first responders, and their families. But this year we went big. After the ride, it's rockin' the Red, White, and Brew Fest. On stage will be local band Six Pack Sammy, the best CZ Top cover band in the country, Eliminator, Count 77 featuring Danny Coker, a.k.a. The Count, 80s rocker Lita Ford, and then our headliner Jackal takes the stage. To get registered to ride, including your Red, White, and Brewfest ticket, go to BigUnitFoundation.com. That's BigUnitFoundation.com. If you can't ride with us, that's okay. Get your tickets at RWBFestivalMKE.com.
When will it rain? I feel the heat burning through my shoes.
Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We are live. We're at the Wisconsin State Fair. Good to have you on board today. All week long, we're going to be here at the fair. So I always love coming to the fair. It's just, when it's over, it's a little sad because you kind of feel like you've made that full turn into mid-August and, fall is right around the corner. And I don't want summer to end. I just don't. I'm just now like kind of getting out to enjoy it. But that being said, the fair is one of my favorite times of year. It just is, and I love this place. So coming up later on today, we're going to talk with Craig Kashan. He's going to join us. We'll talk about the Brewers and their slippage a little bit. Pat Murphy doesn't seem to be too concerned about what's going on. My concern level went up a little bit. I'm not quite into the panic mode yet, but losing series to bad baseball teams, that's not what you want to be doing. You got to beat the teams you should beat and split with the teams that you are going to be going head to head with in the postseason. And they're not beating the teams they're supposed to beat, but we'll see. The Brewers off today, back at it again tomorrow. And then from there, but again, live out here at the Wisconsin State Fair. In the meantime, up north, the Green Bay Packers continue to get ready for their first preseason game. Cleveland coming up this weekend. The Browns, I would assume that you're not going to see Jordan Love play. I don't know if the announcement one way or the other has been made yet, but I would assume we are not going to see him play, or if it at all, in very limited time. But nevertheless, you're going to see your first look at your 2024, 2025 Green Bay Packers. So I'm excited about that. We got football coming up. A lot of good stuff going on. But what level of concern do you have regarding the Milwaukee Brewers? Regarding the Brewers and what they got going on. The Cubs have made a little bit of a run, and they feel like they've done some things that is going to make them a little bit better. They beat the Cardinals 2 out of 3 over the weekend. They feel good. Pittsburgh has played some decent ball. the Brewers are sitting, like I said, with a 500 record since the All-Star break. It seems like everybody, and the Brewers are still, by the way, the third best record in the National League. I mean, hell, you look at the Phillies, and what are they, 2-8 in their last 10 ball games or something like that? So nobody's like setting the world on fire right now. Kevin says, my concern on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 9. Why a 9? Why would you be that concerned? That, I'm concerned because you hope that Yelich is going to be coming back and going to be okay. That back kind of subsides. You hope that Contreras returns and begins hitting the ball at some point again. I'm not going to say he's going to hit it at a 300 clip, but can he give you 275, 265, somewhere in there, and boost that average from what it was throughout the month of June, which was abysmal? Can he come back? Willie Adames, just a little more consistent. So Thomas says, on a scale of 1 to 10, mine is a 6 right now. A 6 right now. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, go ahead and do so. We'd love to get your opinion on this, but are you becoming concerned about the Brewers for what they have going on? And Willie Adames, I had mentioned, 246 on the season, but if you go back, say, over the last, few weeks, he's hitting he's hitting close to 300, if I'm not mistaken, last I saw. And over the last, month, really, he's actually been a little more stable. He's given you, over the last 30 games, 4 home runs, 17 RBIs, 11 walks, 42 strikeouts, a couple of stolen bases, batting .267 with a slugging percentage of .440. That's not terrible. That's kind of where Willie is. That's kind of where he sits usually. But I'd love to see him get a little bit hotter. I'd love to see Contreras get back to what he was. Rhys Hoskins, I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. Rhys Hoskins has been hitting the ball better as of late, so maybe he's shaking off some of the rough rust that he had early in the season when he had the hammy and went down for a short period of time. So maybe things get a little bit better. And that's all they need to find themselves to the postseason. I don't think they're going to end up faltering out of the postseason. And the problem is in the division, nobody's really gone on that big run yet. Nobody's made that 8-game, 9-game run where they just start putting it all together. The Brewers haven't, and you're waiting for that run on the Brewers. That's what you're waiting for right now, is that 7-8 games in a row where they pick those things up, they start to win, and then you go through a stretch after you win, say, 7 or 8 in a row, where all of a sudden you lose one, then you come back and you win 4 more, you lose 1 or 2, and then you win 4 or 5 more. That's you're looking for that run. That's what you're looking for. Kevin says the starting pitching is a problem, and you don't have Yelich. The bullpen is starting to show signs of the strain due to the overuse. Contreras in a big slump. Starting pitching is not daunting. That I'll agree with. It's not scary starting pitching, but they've done enough. Some of the games that they've lost have basically have been because the offense has been somewhat inept. They have been giving up more out of the bullpen, though, which can give you a little bit of pause for concern. But I'm not there to say I'm panicked yet. Just not yet. I really thought that they'd play better at home coming out of the All-Star break in that short period of time, and they didn't do what I thought they would do, because home at American Family Field has been such a staunch, place for them, and they didn't take advantage of it. So I'm looking forward to this next homestand and see if they can't kind of regroup and put it all back together. 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, give us a call. Craig says when you're down 4-0 in the third inning, kind of hard to win those games. It is. When you get down early, I understand it. I mean, the team that jumps on top first is a team that usually wins the ball game. The percentages are high. The team that scores 4 runs or more in a game, you win the ball game. Those stats are usually pretty high. I understand all of that. I'm just not there yet. Not there yet. And the trade deadline was kind of meh. It didn't thrill me. I really thought, and I alluded to this earlier, there were some people that I were talking to that, know the organization. And there was a lot of people that really thought they were going to do something. They were going to make some kind of a splash. And they really didn't. Yeah, well, and they didn't. I shouldn't say they really didn't. They really didn't. They didn't make a splash at all. They're relying on a lot of the young guys to come back and the injury list to heal up. I don't know if that's going to be enough. And the question then becomes, if you're the Brewers, look, every year, you're never going to shake the moniker of being a small market club. So every year, you're a small market club. It's not like one year you're going to all of a sudden have all this money and you're going to say, well, this is the year we're going to spend this kind of money, or this is the year we're going to make this deal. So every year, if you're going to win the division and you're going to go to the postseason, at what point, what deciding factor makes you say, let's put a few more pieces together and really make a good, legitimate run at this thing? Because, I mean, even fans are like, they don't do that. Don't get rid of prospects. They're not going to make a run. They're not good enough to win a World Series. So what year do you make that decision? What year do you make that? What year do you say, if there's a CC Sabathia out there, I'm going to go get him because I need something to put it all together because we believe we got a pretty good team. At what point? That's it. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. At what point, if you're the Brewers, do you go, got to be in? Got to be in on this. You know what I mean? Got to do this. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. Let's go to Mark. Mark the Milkman listening to the program. Mark, how you doing today, pal?
Hey, I'm doing good, Bill. I'm not a milkman. I'm a mailman.
Mailman. I'm sorry. I screwed that up.
No, that's okay. So, hey, I just wanted to, on your comment about how worried I am, I would say I'm at a 5. I'm concerned about the guys that are falling off, Contreras, Adames. I'm sure the news of Yelich in the clubhouse wasn't welcoming to anybody, but, they started off so well. I just don't understand the slip in their averages. With that said, though, I am concerned about the management and the decisions they decided to make during the trade deadline. We all saw what the Cardinals did, and they're right on our heels.
Right.
So, that's what I'm concerned about. And I don't know, it just kind of seems like they're always kind of giving us a little piece every year, a little something to taste, and then nothing happens. And that's what I'm more concerned about, what the direction of management and where they're going to go in the future for their fan base.
Yeah.
I mean, we put a lot of money. I know the numbers for the people that go to baseball games, our numbers are very good as an attendance. And I think that's something possibly management takes granted for. So
Yeah.
Thanks for taking my call, Bill.
All right, bud. Appreciate it. And that is the mailman, not the milkman. I screwed that up. My bad. Mark the milkman. There we go. No, Mark the mailman. There you go. That's kind of what I'm asking. At what point do you're always going to be a Brewers fan. At what point do you go, they're never going to be in it to win it? Unless you fully believe that the team that they have that's on the field right now can win it. It's such a tough question. And I ask it, and I say all the time, like, look, if you got a shot at winning and going to the postseason, you do everything you can to win in the postseason. That's just the way it is. This whole thing about, well, we're going to get numerous bites at the apple. That's fine. But at what point do you want the whole freaking apple? That's what you want as a Brewers fan. You want to know that not only is your team competitive enough to win the division and get to the postseason, but you want to know that the team, the ownership, the management, that they're saying, we're in it. We're in it. We believe this team can win. And we're going to do everything we can to make this team better. At what point do you throw those chips into the middle of the table? That's what I'd like to know. 877-867-1670. We got a good one today. We might end up with Ty Majeski, one of the Craftsman Truck Series drivers. He's going to be on site today. He wants to swing by and say hi. Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press Gazette's going to join us coming up here in about an hour from now. We're going to have also our guy Craig Kashan is going to join us in about 2 hours from now. Mike Clemens for the full last hour of the program. Loaded here at the Wisconsin State Fair today. Loaded. Stop over and say hi. If you're coming to the fair, just come on by, grab yourself a beverage, a craft beverage from the Goose Island Ale House. We'd love to have you swing over and say hello if you want to do that. Otherwise, just enjoy anything and everything that is on a stick. Come on by, say hi. We're broadcasting live at the Wisconsin State Fair. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Everybody knows if it's summer season, it's festival season. And Potawatomi has the winningest one, WinFest. You could make it an awesome August with a share of $500,000. Play with your rewards card for entries. Hourly drawings every Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. 25 grand in cash and prizes each drawing. It's the $500,000 WinFest. Get in on the fun. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. More info at paystake.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to be back. Remember, we are now in crunch time. If you've been thinking about it, oh boy, and you haven't signed up yet, got to do it. Here's the reason why. We got the motorcycle ride, the 17th annual Big Unit Poker Run, benefiting in support of Fisher House, Wisconsin. So for our veterans, our military members, our first responders, their families, this is the reason we ride. And we're looking for a terrific ride and terrific turnout again this year. And I was out over the weekend. I ran into a couple people who have not signed up yet. And I said, why aren't you signed up? They said, well, all the issues from last year have been taken care of, because we really didn't have a lot. We can't control the weather. The weather was 97 degrees. But yes, the end point is massive. There's plenty of room, and there's plenty of the venue itself and the concert in itself and everything that we've done is going to be magnanimous. It's just going to be absolutely fun and fantastic. And when you put a good rock concert together, and everybody loves live music, especially in the summertime, so come on out. But we've done everything digitally online, so that way you don't have to worry about coming in and physically signing a bunch of stuff and waiting for papers and all that kind of stuff. Now you just shoot right through it. Our friends from Potawatomi Hotel Casino, they have put together a really quick way to deal cards at the end of the poker run to get you through the lines in time. But more so than anything, we just need you, and we need bodies. We need motorcycles. So I know there's a lot going on with the Harley-Davidson Homecoming. A lot of people are at Sturgis. State Fair is going on. Local fairs have been going on. But don't forget, get pre-registered. And we are going to give a prize away just for those who pre-register. We're going to draw that name that Sunday morning before the ride. And one person or a couple of people on a bike are going to win the ability to ride up front and be fully escorted by the police departments. And then you're going to get a VIP package at the concert and a backstage meet and greet at the concert after the fact as well. So a great prize package for you just for pre-registering if your name happens to be drawn. So go to bigunitfoundation.com. That's bigunitfoundation.com, and get yourself registered and tell your friends and neighbors about it. We certainly would appreciate it. The other big piece of news, obviously, and I haven't really gotten too deep into it, is the fact that Jordan Love signed for a massive amount of money. And we all know, the average annual portion of the contract comes to $55 million a year. It was a 4-year, $220 million contract extension with the Packers, a record $75 million signing bonus that is due by September of this year. So they're giving him all the money up front, kind of. The signing bonus, and then at signing, $100.8 million fully guaranteed, with $155 million in total guarantees. It is a big contract. The guaranteed money is less than Deshaun Watson and Joe Burrow, but it's still a big contract. And if you look at it on average, as far as the cap hits go, I don't know. Russ Ball did a magnificent job on this. This year, in 2024, the cap hit is going to be around $20.7 million. It's not going to be massive, which, by the way, that's only 8.13% of the team's total salary. Next year, it'll be 29.7, which is 10%, almost 11%. In 2025, it is $36 million, which is still under the 13% mark at 12.37. If by chance the deal doesn't work out, and the Packers say maybe Love doesn't, he's not the guy, after the 2026 season, they have an ability to bail with $51 million still dead cap money. if they absolutely need to. In 2027, his cap hit goes to $42.4 million, which is about 13.5% of the team's total salary cap. It's in 2028 that it gets massive. And by that point in time, they will have reworked the deal, you would assume. So this year included in the 4 years, up until the 2028 season, because the 2028 season, that cap hit would be $74.2 million. And I can't imagine that ever being just left to lay there dormant like that. So do I like the contract? It's what we kind of expected, right? I don't think we're out of, speaking out of school by saying that, wow, this is way too much and this is crazy. No, I think this is what kind of was expected. We talked about his salary was going to start with a 5. We kind of figured that, and we said probably between 53 and 57, right in the middle is 55. So he earned it by the way he played at the end of the season. The Packers fully believe behind closed doors that he's the guy. So if you believe he's the guy, you believe he's your franchise quarterback, you believe he has that capability to continue that level of play, you pay the man. You pay him. So I don't know what the reaction was here when it, word got out that that's what the pay was going to be. But I don't have a problem with it. Do I think it's a bit much? Yeah, for a guy that played really well for 10 games, 11 games. That's a lot of money. He's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the National Football League. But we all talked about it, that this was coming. It didn't shock me. It did. As a matter of fact, I was a little surprised that the Packers only did a 4-year deal, because I know Love wanted 4 years, because he now gets another bite of the apple in 4 more years to extend out and get another salary that's going to be commensurate with whoever the top paid quarterback is in the league, barring a fall off or drop off in his performance. But it didn't shock me. It didn't shock me. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. I'd love to get your opinion on that as well. The Packers ponied up. The Packers paid the man. Everything's pretty much done and settled, and now there's just optimism for the season. But it's pretty much what we thought it would be. The guaranteed money is a little surprising to me, in a good way, not a bad way, with $155 million in total guaranteed. I thought it would be up around $210 million in guarantees. It's a little surprising they didn't go to that level, but there are other incentives and other things built into that contract. But $155 million in total guarantees, that's not a bad way to go. Not a bad way at all. I thought it was a pretty reasonable and fair contract. 877-867-1670. Aaron in Marshfield texting us. Welcome back, Bill. We missed you. But the fill-ins did extremely well. Love to get your full thoughts on the Love contract. Seems pretty good, especially with the lower salary for 2024, bringing in that new money, average down quite a bit from $55 million closer to 46-ish over the next 5 years. Like I said, I thought the way Russ Ball penciled this deal, I thought it favored the Packers. I really did. I like what they did. I like what they did. Jason says, I think the Packers got a good deal on Jordan Love. I still didn't want to pay him that much money per year, but I still think it's a good deal with not as much guaranteed money up front. It looks like the Packers can get out of it relatively quickly if this is not going to be the guy. Kyle says, is it the lighting or showing off the vacation tan? No, it's vacation tan. We spent a lot of days outside. Went to the beach a couple of days. We walked around Boston all day on Sunday in bright sunshine. Walked through Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots, and saw some of Patriots training camp. On Tuesday, went to Battleship Cove on Monday, out in the hot sun. So a lot of days spent in the sun, but a couple of days hanging at the beach, sitting there, having a cigar and watching the tide come in. That was about the extent of it. So yeah, it was a fun trip. It was a relaxing trip, but it was also, by the time we got back, it was kind of like, okay, I don't know if you can say throwing on the game face or the work mode, but man, there's a lot to do. There's a lot going on. Tomorrow, I'm going to be in Chippewa Falls up at Wissota High Shore Supper Club. We got a cigar dinner coming up tomorrow night, and I don't believe the tickets are sold out for that yet. So if you're in the Eau Claire area, there's still some tickets available if you want to come and join us. Then the following week, we're going to be in La Crosse, Wisconsin for another cigar dinner. And then that weekend, the following weekend, on the 14th, 15th, 16th, all the way through, we're going to be out there for the Big River Rally, and I'm going to be riding in that. I'm going to be riding on Saturday and introducing Jackal on Sunday, doing a lot of promotion out there for the motorcycle ride all weekend long for that as well. We've got a lot of different stuff coming up. This coming Saturday, we're all coming, bringing a bunch of friends here from out of town to the State Fair Park. We're going to come and see Cherry Pie on Saturday night and hang out here and get wild and stupid and eat corn on the cob that's dipped in butter and hopefully a couple of those big brownies, and because I'll be able to eat by then. So there's a lot of stuff happening. But we're going to be all over the state. We're going to be out traveling. We're going to be out having fun and catching sun. But yeah, a little bit tanner when I came back. Tan doesn't work. Tan doesn't look bad on me. It's just the skin. That's the way it is. Now, let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back. A lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. Hey, kudos, shout out to our gang over there at the Social House. Social House, West Lisbon Road, Menominee Falls. They raised over $2,500 for Fisher House, Wisconsin, by selling off that the chances to win that big prize package of basically bar supplies. It was fantastic. Kudos to Dan Della and the gang over there at Social House, and to all of you that bought tickets for that as well. West Lisbon Road in Menominee Falls. Music on the weekends, Sunday fun days, all that kind of good stuff over there at the Social House, Haus. Look for it. Great place, great time, great people.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, I'm Jeff Levering alongside Gina Della from Pella.
Thanks, Jeff. How do you say welcome?
With a new entry door from Pella.
Say it with color.
Like baseball bat oak or foul pole yellow?
Say it with class.
Like following players' unwritten baseball rules?
With clarity.
Like a no-doubter shot off the scoreboard?
Or with confidence.
Like an overachieving first-place team who experts predicted would be below average this season?
Before saying welcome with your new entry door from Pella, secure an incredible deal.
Like a ruthless baseball player's agent, here's the deal you cannot pass up.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
That's the ball game. A Pella walk-off.
Your new entry door from Pella is installed and warranted by Pella for years of comfort and durability.
Don't miss out on 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
Schedule your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 8/31/2024.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You got to hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in the pocket.
Good to have you back. Yes. Broadcasting live at the Wisconsin State Fair. The Bud Pavilion inside the Goose Island Ale House. The fair gates have opened up. People are strolling through. Stuff on a stick is being served and gobbled up. Beverages are flowing. Beer is here. So no reason not to come to the Wisconsin State Fair. Hang out here. We're going to be here all week long from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the air, live. If you get a chance, come by, say hi. Always love seeing all of our friends here at the fair. It's like a reunion every year, the fair is. So it's great. It's great to be here. It's great to see some people. I just saw Ted and Ellen, who they live down near Whitewater, down University of Whitewater. But they make their way to the fair here every year, and they come over and say hi. And our friend Susan, who owns a couple of different bars and restaurants. And I saw Kelly a little while ago, and he came over. He was wearing his Cubs hat, proud, they're trying to help out the Brewers by knocking off the Cardinals twice over the weekend. So I at least forgave him for wearing a Cubs hat for that. At least they beat the Cardinals, and the Cardinals didn't gain any ground on the Brewers. So good to see everybody, but always good to see Kelly and the gang too. So thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Welcome back to the program. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Andrew Chevrolet. At Andrew Chevrolet, they are huge supporters of the motorcycle ride, huge supporters of veterans. We can't do what we do without them. While I was gone, the truck was out. The pickup truck that they gave us to use was out and about at a couple of different events over the last week. The tents were being taken around. The tables were being taken around. And this is all the stuff that we do and use when we need a vehicle, for our veteran events, for our charitable events. So Andrew Chevrolet said, hey, we'll take care of you. By the way, they have a lot of good stuff over on their lot as well, in case you have not gotten a chance to go over there and check it out, or maybe you haven't gone to their website to check it out, but a lot of good stuff over there, and a lot of the new EV vehicles, the all-new redesigned Chevy 2025 Trax. If you want to check that out, they've got that there. They also have a bunch of new Silverados. They got Silverados coming out their ears right now. So if you're looking for a new truck, head over there and talk to my buddy Stu. Stu is one of the sales managers over there. Stu's a good guy, a really good guy. Talk to Stu. Just find him online. Go andrewchevrolet.com. That is andrewchevrolet.com on Silver Spring Drive in Glendale, Wisconsin. Again, andrewchevrolet.com. Got an email here I want to get to, and this one is from Kyle in Wauwatosa. Says, hey, Bill, how much weight have you lost? You look a little bit thinner, but by the way, thank you very much. I'll tell you the story after the top of the hour about the vacation. I'm down 40 pounds. When I weighed in really yesterday, but I stayed the same between yesterday and today. But I'm down 40 pounds now officially, and I'm continuing to kind of work my way down. But I'll tell you how some of that happened. Okay, later. He says the love contract is what it is. We knew he'd get this much. Now he just has to go out and prove it. I'm worried about a sophomore slump. How about you? That's from Kyle in Tosa. Kyle, you the man. Appreciate you taking a listen to us. The sophomore slump. I don't know if I'm in fear of the sophomore slump. It really, I think, and I had said this when it came to the whole contract negotiation thing. I think we're all kind of holding our breath over the first 3, 4, 5 games, 6 games to say, can he pick up where he left off from last year? And I'm not talking about, 20-something touchdowns and 1 pick or whatever. I'm talking, the first 5 or 6 games just look good. 250 or better in yardage, couple of touchdowns, not throwing picks, completion percentage is good, hitting the open receivers. The receivers are doing their job. The offensive line is solidified and settled. Just all that kind of stuff, Obviously, the Josh Jacobs news that, he got a tweak in a hammy. And now that's something that you put in the back of your mind for the remainder of the season because you just never know if it's going to be something that's going to be problematic or it's just a little bit. We're, going to set him for some precautionary things. So we'll pay attention to stuff like that. But I'm not concerned about a sophomore slump because I think he kind of went through that. Remember the beginning of the season last year, he looked fantastic against the Bears. Fantastic. And then against Atlanta, it wasn't that good. And then they came home against the Saints, and he didn't look great. And then the fourth quarter came. They were down by 18. They came back and won that ball game, remember? And it was basically he led them to that win. He ran for a couple of touchdowns in that game, if I'm not mistaken. And then it was kind of ebb and flow. And it was a matter of the receivers getting together, the tight ends getting together, the offensive line becoming solidified. They weren't mixing and matching. Remember early last year, they were mixing and matching guys, trying to see who would fit at the best position because they just wanted to figure out the best five. And then as the season went on, they finally did. So the offensive line settled. Aaron Jones came back from the hamstring injury and the ankle issues. And then he really became healthy and solidified himself in the run game. And then everything clicked. So I'm not worried about the sophomore slump. I think he kind of went through a little bit of that. So my concern level for that is pretty limited, I think. But I also agree with you. Look, I'm not saying the sophomore slump to have a bad season. I'm saying, because there's going to be coordinators now that are going to look at him and say, okay, let's find tendencies. Let's find things that he does that we can then capitalize on. Now you've had a full offseason to analyze Jordan Love. So do defenses come at him in a different way now? Because they're trying to find a weakness that he has, and then does he overcome that? But other than that, I'm not extremely worried about the sophomore slump. Gerard will be first out of the chute when we come back. Don't go anywhere. In the next hour, we got Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press Gazette and PackersNews.com. We're going to hear from him as well. We are broadcasting live out here at the 2024 version of the Wisconsin State Fair, inside the Bud Pavilion, inside the Goose Island Ale House. We are here all day. Come on by and say hi. We got more coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Milwaukee Brewers dropped the final two of a three-game series, losing in the rubber match yesterday against the Nationals 4-3. Now the Nats jumped all over the Brewers when Tobias Myers was pulled in the fifth inning and Hobie Milner entered to start the sixth. Here's more from manager Pat Murphy.
I love this team, guys, and I'm not going to start criticizing them for making youthful mistakes or for hitting balls hard and not having it be timely hitting. I thought we pitched okay. Tobias was not his best, but he was good. And we had a full bullpen, and Hobie's been unbelievable for us. And he had some unfortunate luck. I thought everybody else pitched really well.
The Brewers have now sit 4 of their last 5 series. They sit 62-49 on the year, 5.5 games above the Cardinals for first place in the NL Central. Milwaukee will now have tonight off. They'll go to Atlanta to take on the Braves tomorrow. Turning to the Packers, Saturday was a family night at Lambeau Field. Head coach Matt LaFleur says it was a great success.
It never gets old going into Lambeau, and for some of our new guys, like a guy like X or Josh Jacobs, and obviously all the rookies, I don't think these guys have experienced something like this. So I think it was definitely a special night for them.
The Packers will be back on the practice field tomorrow.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Get insurance from a company who knows Wisconsin and cares about your community. You may know Rural Mutual Insurance as the #1 farm insurer, but did you know they also offer competitive home and auto rates? Visit ruralmutual.com to learn more about products and discounts.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Saturday saw the Wisconsin Badgers have full pads on for the first time in practice. They'll continue on with their fall camp today down in Platteville. And finally, their season will begin August 30th against Western Michigan. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
It is great to be back for vacation. Good to get everybody on the network in this hour. Whether you're listening to us up in Menominee and Marinette, or if you're listening to us in Tomahawk, Wisconsin, Platteville, Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, whatever. Good to have everybody on the network, and it's good to be back in the seat. We are broadcasting live today from the Wisconsin State Fair. Love the fair. Love me some fair. And here today and the rest of the week, as a matter of fact, at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. each and every day. So if you're going to come out to the Wisconsin State Fair, stop by the Bud Pavilion and the Goose Island Ale House, and we are in the back of the ale house. So come on over and give us a wave, or during commercial break, we'll say hello, whatever. But always good to be at the Wisconsin State Fair. I love it. I love this time of year. Love the fair. Love everything about it. And I can't wait to be a part of it and get out and experience it a little bit later this week for sure. A reminder, coming up tomorrow, Tuesday, I'm going to be in Chippewa Falls at Wissota High Shore Supper Club. We've got one of our Quick Spirits cigar dinners coming up. So if you haven't gotten a ticket for that yet and you want one, I don't know if they have any left, but stop into your local Quick Spirits out there or go to quickspirits.com. That's quickspirits.com and grab your tickets. Also, you can pick up tickets for our appearance in La Crosse and our appearance in Kenosha that are coming up later this month as well. So we're going to be in La Crosse next week and in Kenosha in the following week. So we got a lot of stuff happening that we're going to be on the road for. We're going to be at the Big River Rally coming up in La Crosse next weekend, not this coming weekend, but next weekend we're going to be there as well. So a lot of travel happening. And that being said, we're going to have Packers games coming up, and we're going to be up in Green Bay. We're going to be doing our post-game shows, all that kind of stuff once the season gets underway. So really, really, really good stuff happening. But good to be back. Good to be back after a vacation that was filled with fun. It was great to relax. I had talked a little bit about it, said I'd allude to it later. Lost more than a few pounds on the trip. And I'll tell you how coming up here in a little bit. Not a great way, not the way you want to lose weight, but just got a bug. Well, not a sick bug. It wasn't like I was ill. It was something did not agree with me internally, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but I lost weight because of it. So about 8 pounds worth. So today I'm actually officially down 40 pounds since I started working out and not want to say dieting, but kind of change some things and feel good, feel great. And maybe got another 15, 20 more to go if I can, but regardless, it's great to be here at the fair. The fair is not the place to come to lose weight, by the way. Not with those giant brownies and the cream puffs and everything on a stick and the food that they serve. By the way, the Bud Pavilion, I think, came in second in the Sporky Awards. They use Quick Trip Glazers as hamburger buns. I haven't seen what they make yet, but I saw like 1 million of these glazers from Quick Trip get delivered here today. I mean, just thousands of them. And they use the donuts as hamburger buns. It's wild. So at some point this week, we're going to do a taste test on it, just because we're here and investigatory wise. And as a reporter, we have to do that. So, anyway, talking Brewers baseball. Brewers not playing great baseball right now. They're still sitting at 500 since the All-Star break, 7-7. The pitching has been sporadic. The hitting has been sporadic. This is not what you want out of a team that you're going to say is going to be efforting for the postseason. But the one thing I will say is you're in the beginning of August. You know, you're just now going into your kind of, quote, second week of August, you know, on this, what, the 5th, August 5th, I think is today. So not overly concerned. If you're still sitting here in 2 weeks going, boy, this team's still just playing 500 ball, and guys are up and down and pitching's up and down, and then I become a little more concerned. But as of right now, they are third best record in the National League. That's saying something. They're still playing some decent ball. So I'm not concerned about it just yet. My level of concern is sitting at about a 4 right now. We'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks, and just hopefully they just start putting it all back together. And you know, you get better through osmosis through getting some of your guys healthy as well. In the meantime, Jordan Love signs a big contract extension, which it was only 4 years. that the year surprised me a little bit because I really thought the Packers had hammered for 5, but Jordan Love really wanted 4. A 4-year extension, $220 million worth. For a guy that, threw for 4,100 yards, 32 touchdowns, 11 picks, all that kind of stuff. So he had a pretty solid season, and then he gets paid $75 million of that. Signing bonus is due by December, so they take some of that large chunk off the books. It's a total of $155 million total guarantee. It's not a bad contract. I'm not overly concerned about it, but nevertheless, Jordan Love is signed. All is right with the world, at least right now. So, knock on wood, cross your fingers that the Packers stay healthy throughout the rest of camp and things continue to progress. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. Let's do this. We'll go to the phones. Our buddy Gerard is on hold. Gerard, how you doing today, man?
Bill, it's good to hear you. Listen, I want to comment on Love's contract and Ball. I think Ball did a great job the way he spread it out. I know you just addressed that. But, and I want to talk about, I watch Family Night. Okay, so I want to talk about a few players on that. These talking heads are out there, Bill, saying that Love deserves the contract. Okay, you could say he got a good contract, it's a great signing, whatever, but he deserves it? That's a little strange. I thought that was kind of ridiculous for them to say that. But I watched a couple of guys during Family Night. I watched the guy you speak about a lot, Caleb Jones.
Yep.
And I watched Watson. And let me tell you something about Caleb Jones. Now, he played mostly with the third team and some with the second team, and he played left and right tackle. On one play when they ran the reverse, he didn't move. I don't know if that was planned. But when they ran the ball, he pushed these guys 7 yards down the field. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, he pushed them. Now, when they passed the ball, I wanted to see how he got out of his stance. And I saw him at left tackle. I couldn't see how quick his feet were at right tackle, because of the view that they showed. But he's not bad. He's not terrible. I can tell you that. And he's a monster of a guy. He's Herman Monster. I mean, he really is a huge guy. Yep. Now, as far as Watson is concerned, and Heath, both of them beat Alexander on out routes and then a corner route in the end zone. Both of them beat him for touchdowns. And Heath out-muscled him. He out-physicaled him on one play. Now, another play, this is a little scary. He threw the ball to Watson on a seam pattern deep down the field. Now, if he would have caught that, Bullitt would have lit him up. He dropped the ball, and then he got up, and his shoulder was bothering him. He was moving his arm like his shoulder was bothering him. Then they showed him again later. He was doing the same thing and everything else. So there you go. Right away, you could see that even though it was in that type of game, he hurt himself. Mm-hmm. So, and the guy who stole the whole night, Bill, and this whole thing was this little 8-year-old kid. I think he was 8. I don't know.
Yeah. How about that?
The Jugs machine. He caught 3 balls and held on to them as he was holding the other 2. You got to hold, as you catch one, you got to hold on to it. So and then he caught the 3rd one, and the whole team surrounded him. I thought that was fantastic.
What a neat moment. I mean, more people were lighting up Twitter under the hashtag Packers about that kid than big plays from other players' Family Night. I mean, it went crazy.
It was great. It was real. I don't know how old he was. Do you know? He looked about 7 or 8, didn't he?
I don't know specifically, but he was small. He was a small kid.
Yeah, and Reed caught 6 of them, and then what's his name, Nixon? I think he dropped the 4th one. I think he caught 3 or something. Mm-hmm. He dropped the 4th one. But overall, it's hard to judge on those nights. It really is. But all I did was want to watch the offensive linemen and certain guys on the offense and defensive line. I wanted to watch that because you could tell a tiny bit with that. But I wanted to see the guy you always talk about, and we know. But, like I said, though, Caleb Jones, I'd like to see him against a speed rusher. I would like to see him against like a Garrett, somebody that can move their feet really quick and see how, because he's so big, how long does he take to get out of his stance to block a speed rusher, Mm-hmm. That's the kind of things you really want to see with a guy like that. So, Bill, I'm glad to hear you back, and, we'll keep our fingers crossed for a healthy season, and we'll see what happens, huh?
All right, bud. Appreciate it. Thanks, pal. He drops off. You get on board 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Yeah, I didn't even mention the kid that stole the show on Family Night. Catching the out of the jugs machine, catching like whatever you would consider to be like a punt. Oh, my God. That kid was amazing. He was amazing. And, man, what an experience. And I'm sure, he's wearing a helmet, so you didn't get a chance really to see too much of his face. But, man, when you go back to school and tell your friends, I was the internet sensation, man, that's fantastic. That was a really cool moment. That was one that was trending more in the Packers column of Twitter than anything as I was watching it, from the East Coast. But what a crazy night. Man, good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Nate listening to us in Green Bay. Nate, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing well, Bill. Welcome back.
Thank you, pal. Appreciate it. What's up?
Well, can we talk some Jordan Love contract extension for a second?
Yeah.
I think the Packers crafted really a great deal. And bear with me for a second. I want to kind of break it down.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the caveat to all of this is that I think, we as fans, we should only really care about the salary cap hit, right? Like, honestly, how much do we really care about what dollar value goes from the Packers bank account to Jordan Love's bank account? I think we as fans should really only be concerned with the cap hit number, which is, kind of what runs this whole organization from a player perspective, right?
Right.
So if we break that down, this year's deal, this year's portion of his deal added with that 4-year extension, you're looking at a 5-year, $237.5 million deal. That's easier to pelt, I think. And if you break it down even further, let's say 2024 salary cap hit 20.2, 25, 29.7 million, 26, 36.1,
right,
27, 42.4. Divide that out over those 4 years. We're paying Jordan Love a salary cap hit number, which is what we're concerned with, of 32.1 million.
Right.
I think that's not only a palatable deal, but a really kind of a bargain price for a high level quarterback that's only ascending and getting better.
Right.
I think Russ Ball did a really good job.
I think Ball did a great job. I think the fact that the signing bonus, or not the signing bonus, but the guaranteed money wasn't over $200 million, I thought was big. The fact that it does break down like that really until you get to 2027, he doesn't go over 13.5% of the team's total salary cap at all. And you're right. That's what as a fan, that's what you're most concerned about. You can look at the numbers and go, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But really what you're concerned about is what the total cap hit is and what the availability of money is for the Green Bay Packers, for them to go out and fortify different holes if indeed they need to along the way. So I agree with you. I think when I saw the contract, I was thinking, okay, the average of $55 million a year is what they say, with total signing bonuses and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I get it. But when I looked at it, I thought, wow, this is something where the Packers said, we believe in you. We're giving the money. Jordan Love's team said, give us an extra bite at the apple earlier in 4 years. So they did. And the Packers said, don't take us over the 13.5 to 14.5% over the salary cap percentage wise in that period of time. And they tried to keep it under that. Now, obviously, when you get to 2028, they're going to redo that deal at some point because he's going to be making $74 million in that last year, make 22% of the team's total salary cap. So I agree with you. They're going to redo that. But I love the way this thing is written. Absolutely, man. Appreciate the phone call. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break and come back, get more of your emails, more of your phone calls, get some of the text line going as well. If you want to join us and hit us up with a text, you can do it. We would love to hear from you. Hey, Road America this past weekend was alive. They had Grid Life a couple of weeks ago. They had IMSA that just ran through there. They're not done yet. They still have more coming. If you're looking for anything with the need for speed, man, Road America is the place to be. Go to roadamerica.com. That is roadamerica.com, America's national park of speed. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, I'm Jeff Levering alongside Gina Della from Pella.
Thanks, Jeff. How do you say welcome?
With a new entry door from Pella.
Say it with color.
Like baseball bat oak or foul pole yellow?
Say it with class.
Like following players' unwritten baseball rules.
With clarity.
Like a no-doubter shot off the scoreboard.
Or with confidence.
Like an overachieving first-place team who experts predicted would be below average this season.
Before saying welcome with your new entry door from Pella, secure an incredible deal.
Like a ruthless baseball player's agent. Here's the deal you cannot pass up.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
That's the ball game. A Pella walk-off.
Your new entry door from Pella is installed and warranted by Pella for years of comfort and durability.
Don't miss out on 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
Schedule your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. NC 31/2024.
Get the Road America app. You can watch and listen live. Get real-time updates on the races, driver interviews, sponsor details, and so much more. Go to roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show, live at the Wisconsin State Fair. It is fair time, my friends. If you haven't been here this past couple of days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday over the weekend, we're going to be here all week long as the fair continues. And today is NASCAR Milwaukee Mile Day. So they've got some of the Craftsman truck drivers that are going to be here on site around noon today. And they're going to be doing an autograph signing. And some of the, I don't know if the trucks are going to be here. I know that the pace car from what was the Chicago run, which, again, I'm still not a fan of them racing in Chicago. But anyway, that's topic for another day. But they have that on display here and a lot of stuff at the Milwaukee Mile. They have some remote control RC cars that are flying around out there and everything. So fun day today here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Come on out and say hi. We are inside the Bud Pavilion at the Goose Island Ale House. The music is already going. We've got an oompa band of some type on the stage right now, and I'll find out who they are. But they're I can see the oompa music and those that are deciding to dance a little bit today early on to the oompa music and the polka music that's taking place. I mean, what would a fair be in Wisconsin without a little polka music? Come on. You got to have some of that. So anyway, here at the Wisconsin State Fair, good to be here. I want to go back because we were talking about the Jordan Love contract. I want to go back, and coming up here in just a few, we're going to talk with Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. He's going to be joining us, and we'll talk with him about this, plus family night, kind of whatever nagging injuries might be out there, that type of thing. We'll just get caught up, and I'll get caught up just like you will. I'll get caught up with Ryan Wood and his coverage of the Green Bay Packers and the Green Bay Press-Gazette. So we're going to get into all of that coming up here in about 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere. But we were talking about the Love contract, and nobody is right now writing in or commenting over on the live stream or on the text message line or anything like that that's saying this was a bad deal. I think everybody is feeling similarly, and we talked about that before I left, and that is you hope he's the real deal. He got off to a hell of a start, struggled a little bit, overcame it, had an incredible run into the postseason. A lot of people didn't even think the Packers would get to the postseason, and they did. And now they're expected to be a title contender for the division and possibly one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFC to represent the NFC at the Super Bowl. So I believe that he's the guy. I think that there's a lot of positivity around Jordan Love right now, but I think a lot of people are just saying, hey, knock on wood, that this decision to pay him this amount of money turns out to be another golden move for a quarterback in Green Bay. I think that's fair to state. But that's the cost of doing business. That's the cost of having a guy that you believe can lead your team not only to the postseason, but to a championship. And they want to see all of these guys, these young guys, kind of culminate and come together all at the same time. Like the whole, like they're baking a cake and they keep throwing in all these different ingredients. You've got some veterans there, like a Xavier McKinney. You've got a Kenny Clark. You got some of these guys locked up. You're getting a secondary back that your hope is going to be injury-free and really be able to compete. And that would make the back end of the defense one of the better, faster secondaries in all of football. Hafley's going to be more aggressive, yada, yada, yada. So that way, all of this, like baking a cake, all of this starts to kind of matriculate at the same time, and then it all rises, all becomes perfect all at once, and then you get yourself a championship or 2 or 3, whatever the window may be. But they believe that Jordan Love is the guy to take them there. And from what I saw at the end of the season last year in the last 6, 7, 8 games, how he went into Dallas, didn't look rattled by his first appearance in the postseason, did not look rattled by his first appearance in the postseason in San Francisco until that last throw. But I thought he did a really solid job, and he's going to come back more confident, more veteran, more assured of himself this season. So I think everybody's just kind of waiting to see. But I think also everybody's kind of like, okay, the contract stuff, now it's out of the way. Now just, pray to God he doesn't get hurt. And now he moves on. I did get a question about Pratt. Pratt, for everything we've heard about Pratt being the backup quarterback, he looks good throwing. They say he throws a really smooth ball. He can spin it, as they say. He tight spirals. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He looks good. Now, again, when he starts playing with the ones and looks good, then you say, okay, you got yourself a viable backup. But they believe they're pretty good and pretty well stocked as far as the backup quarterback position goes. I don't know how good he would be if all of a sudden he has to play with the ones and he's the backup and he has to run out there and be the guy. But Pratt seems to be a guy that has impressed a lot of people. So we'll talk, like I said, we'll talk more about that coming up here at the bottom of the hour with Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Steven says, been watching the Olympics on Peacock, and they've been promoting the Brazil game with the song Love Hurts. That's great. I have not watched a lot of the Olympics. I've kind of caught it here and there. Austin, have you become this Olympic watcher, this big fan of the Olympics?
I've watched it. I watched some of it. I watched all the golf.
Yeah,
I'm a big golf fan, so I watched all the golf. That was really entertaining yesterday.
That was
the final round. But other than that, I haven't watched a whole lot.
Seeing Scheffler break down. First of all, the fact that he was 5 back and came storming back to win was amazing. But seeing him break down and listening to his post round press conference when he won the gold, just what a year for this guy. And if he couldn't win you over at that point, I don't know what he would have to do to win you over. Because man, what a time he had, and crying on the podium and then talking about what it meant to play for his country and what he felt and all that kind of stuff. That just what a great moment for Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, he's had quite the year. I saw on Twitter X. I laughed at it. There's 4 pictures. It was him with the green jacket, and then his mugshot for getting arrested the next semester, next tournament, and then him with his baby because he had the birth of his child over the summer. And now he won a gold medal. Right. So quite the summer for him.
Yeah, what a year for him, man! Oh man! Oh man! So but that was just kind of cool to see. There's been other good moments. Today, though, I did read that Simone Biles fell off of the balance beam. So I know the world is watching Simone Biles, and that the fact that being the Americans we are, we're rooting for her. And this is what is probably most likely going to be her last Olympics. I can almost guarantee that. But the fact that she was never strong on the balance beam to begin with, but she fell today, so she did not win gold. I shouldn't say she's never been strong because she's won gold on the balance beam before, but it's not what they consider her best deal. Now she's going to go to the floor exercise. That's her best. That's where she shines the most. But she fell on the balance beam today. But that's kind of the Olympic update. I used to be an Olympic watcher like crazy, and I haven't watched a lot of it. Maybe I will later now that I'm settled and I'm back home and everything. Maybe I will. But even when I flipped it on, it's been more like background noise than anything when it comes to watching the Olympics. So anyway, let's see here. Let's do this because we got Ryan Wood coming up, and I know we only got a couple of minutes. So I'm going to take a little bit of an early break so we get more time with Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. So we're going to talk to Ryan Wood coming up. We'll ask him all of his questions when all the questions that everybody else has as well when we come back. So we're going to talk with Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. That is coming up shortly, so don't go anywhere. Got to say thanks to our friends at Skag. I know I got a chance to use one of their mowers for a little bit. They're coming to get it. I'm disappointed, but man, that thing's amazing. Skag Power Equipment, whether it's the 360 vehicles that they have, the stand-ups that they have, all the different power equipment that they offer, all the attachments that go along with it. Skag Power Equipment is the creme de la creme, and it's built in Wisconsin, if you didn't know. Skag Power Equipment right here in our own backyard. Stick with something hometown. Skag.com/dealer-locator. Skag.com/dealer-locator. Skag Power Equipment, kudos to them too. They came on board. Huge supporter of the motorcycle ride coming up on Sunday, September 1st. Big into veterans causes, big into first responder causes. So they said, look, this is a natural fit for us. And that's when they came on board. So thanks to our friends over there at Skag Power Equipment and Jason and the gang that brought the Skag, that Skag unit over to me so I could kind of put it through its paces and get a feel for it. Oh my God, I love that thing. I hate to give it up. Love that thing. Skag Power Equipment. Thanks to them for being a part of the program. Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette going to join us next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We are broadcasting live at the Wisconsin State Fair today, tomorrow, all throughout the week. So come on by and say hi right across the street from the Cream Puff Pavilion and inside the Bud Pavilion, as a matter of fact. So if you want to come over and say hello, they're going to be tapping some new beers in the Goose Island Ale House coming up a little bit later on today as well. They do a new craft beverage every day for the run of this Wisconsin State Fair. So if you're into that, come on by and say hi. Otherwise, just come on over and give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you. Time now to set our sights a little bit northward, and that is the Green Bay Press-Gazette's own Ryan Wood joining us on the line. Ryan, how you doing, man? PackersNews.com as well. You can find his stuff there. How you doing?
Doing great, Bill. How's it going?
I'm good. We're back from vacation. I watch over no sooner than I left and Jordan Love signed the deal, so I knew that would happen. Once I got out of town, that news would break. But he's paid. I think it's a real reasonable deal. When the word came out that he signed and you saw the breakdown of the salary, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, isn't that always the way it works? Right as soon as I spent 10 days in Europe right before the start of camp, and I was sure that the extension was going to happen then. So I guess it was on your watch for the vacation.
Right.
But my first thought, Bill, was it was almost $1 million or $2 million lower than I thought. And then I saw, it's a 4-year deal. And that's why. So at $55 million a year, obviously Jordan Love's now the highest paid player in NFL history, tying Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. The difference, those are 5-year deals. And in this kind of economic environment with the NFL salary cap, you want to be back on the free agent calendar sooner than later because the cap goes straight north every year. So I think when you look at this 4-year contract for him, again, at the very top of the financial hierarchy, this is, from a player's perspective, the best contract in NFL history. It's not only tying for the most annual salary, but it's 1 year shorter, gets him back on free agency, and presumably to a bigger deal in 4 years, 1 year earlier. And it's very clear the Packers have hitched their wagon to this quarterback. They expect championship caliber play from Jordan Love's right arm from here on forward. That is the barometer by which he will be judged, by which this team will be judged. They are one of the select few that have the guy, capital T, capital G, the guy at quarterback, and that's the expectation.
That being the guy, I think all of us are hoping that he picks up where he left off and goes out and plays extremely well. I do like the fact that if they absolutely positively have to, they can get out of this in 3 years. So I think the contract itself and the way it was written and everything is really, really good. I like it. Now tell me about the guys around him, about this camp, about family night. Who's starting to stick out to you that let's talk about the top performers and the guys that are starting to stick out to you in your mind as we start to approach this first preseason game with the Cleveland Browns?
The biggest thing for me right now is I'm just waiting to see where is the glaring weakness on this roster, because right now I don't see one. Anywhere you look, and I think this is a byproduct of Brian Gutekunst bringing in some heavy-duty draft classes over the last few years and hitting so frequently with these draft picks. But everywhere you look, there's young talent, there's depth. Take the receivers, for example. There's a clear quartet. There's a clear top 4 at receiver. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Ontavian Wicks, whatever order you want to put them. Those are the top 4. But there's depth too. Bo Melton, Malik Heath, these guys made plays last year. Grant DeBose, he's made plays in this camp. How many rosters out there can say he goes 6-7 deep at receiver with guys that can make plays?
Right.
Not a lot. And what does Jordan Love do the best? He is a relentless machine in this offense when it comes to just spreading the wealth, taking what the defense gives, taking what's there in the playbook, indiscriminately throwing the football to whoever's open. That's what he does. That's what we saw him do last year, and he's got talent all around him. That's a really good match between quarterback and receiver in this offense, but behind Jordan Love's Josh Jacobs. It's a really talented offensive line. The defense, any great defense generates from the defensive front. This defensive line is very talented, and it's deep. Everywhere you look, there's talent and there's depth. And who knows? Once September comes, once the games start, that might change. We might see in late September, week 3, week 4, there's a glaring weakness here. But right now, I don't see it.
The offensive line, I know that they're giving a lot of guys a lot of different looks at a lot of different positions, and they love versatility. And that might have been part of the problem last year in the beginning when they were mixing and matching and trying to figure things out and who was going to play where and such. Give me your thoughts on the offensive line right now and who is also pressing for either starting time or has solidified themselves as a bona fide backup.
I think the surprising part through the first 2 weeks of camp from the offensive line is how little movement there's been. I mean, since camp broke, it's been Rasheed Walker at left tackle. It's been Elton Jenkins left guard. Josh Myers is the center. Right tackle, it's been a rotation between Andre Dillard and Kadeem Telford because Zach Tom hasn't taken team reps yet. That'll change Tuesday. He'll be the right tackle, and that's allowed them to really kind of search some depth there. And the biggest standout so far in camp, as far as solidifying a spot has been Jordan Morgan, the first-round pick, who sure looks like the right guard. I mean, he's been slotted in there at right guard, hasn't really rotated at either tackle. He's just been right guard. So as you look at it now, it seems pretty safe to project a week one starting offensive line. And with Morgan at right guard, Tom at right tackle, Myers, Jenkins, and Walker. We'll see if that changes. But all offseason we talked about how much competition there was going to be. There hasn't been a lot of competition. It's been pretty solidified on the offensive line.
What's the weakest point on the offensive line? Some would say it might be Josh Myers. Is it?
Yeah, some of the outside might say that. Packers coaches would, and Packers coaches love Josh Myers. They always have. There's a reason why they've staunchly defended Josh Myers for a couple years now. They think the way that he runs the center position, specifically his communication on the front, which is a major primary responsibility for a center, to be a communicator. They think that he handles all duties and aspects of that job very, very well. Now, does he get good leverage and all the time? No. Does he get knocked back at the point of attack? Yes, too often for a big guy. But there's other things he does well too. For a big guy, he's got tremendous mobility. He can get outside and pull, get to the second level very well. He needs to get stronger for sure. But the Packers internally, Packers coaches love Josh Myers at center. That's why we've never seen an actual threat posed to him for his job. Going back a couple years now, the weakest link, any opposing defense early in the season sees a starting, even a first round pick, but a starting rookie, they're going to want to attack that. So right guard, Jordan, it's coming at Jordan Morgan. Can he stand up to it? Will be the question early in September.
You've got the running back in Josh Jacobs. I know he had a little bit of a hamstring tweak, and whenever you hear about a guy that uses his speed as a hamstring tweak in camp, you always raise the eyebrows because you wonder if that's going to linger throughout the season. Any concern there?
I think it's too early for concern. Obviously, if this is 3 weeks from now and he's still out, then there's concern then. But the Packers, they've been fairly healthy in this camp. I don't know if that's a byproduct of the strength and conditioning coordinator. I don't know if that's just good luck. But they haven't had a lot of injuries, certainly nothing like last year. Carrington Valentine's been out with a hamstring. Josh Jacobs out. They're going to be precautious with a guy like that early at the onset of the preseason. I think it's premature for concern, but he needs to get back sooner than later.
Let's go to the defensive side of the football now. And defensively speaking, the front four has looked good. Rashawn Gary has certainly shined, and he looks like he's ready to go. Give me your thoughts on the front four and the adaptation from going what Joe Barry's defense was to how much they bought in, absorbed, and loved the Jeff Hafley side of things.
Yeah, I had a really long conversation with Kenny Clark about the difference between the 3-4 and the 4-3 for defensive linemen up front, which is, when you think of the 4-3, I think there's a lot of attention paid to the 3, right? Most visually, when there's an extra linebacker on the field, that catches your eye. But the biggest change really is probably the 4, the defensive line, even getting down into a 3-point stance, getting your edge rushers into a track stance. Tell them just get into the backfield. You don't need to see it in the backfield. You don't be standing up in a 2-point stance for the snap and seeing what's going on. Just get into the backfield. Speed, aggressiveness, physicality, penetrate in the backfield, right? So Kenny Clark, he made the point that in the past, the Packers, like every other defense in the NFL, is a nickel defense. Formationally, what is that? That's 4-2-5. 4 down linemen at the front of your formation. And they would play this more like a 4-3 defense, the 4-2-5, with 3-4 principles instead of 4-3 principles, which means instead of penetrating, you build a wall. And the benefit of the 3-4 that the 4-3 doesn't necessarily have is you can be much more creative from where you bring your blitz. But Joe Barry didn't blitz much. That blitzing was not part of what he emphasized.
Right.
So it kind of negated the one strength, the one benefit of a 3-4. Now they're going to be still 4-2-5 nickel predominantly, like every other defense. Now they're playing that with 4-3 principles, which again means get into the backfield, get off the snap, and it's speed. There's a lot of excitement with this defensive front for what the 4-3 can be.
Give me your thoughts on the secondary. I love the secondary because I keep telling people that with the speed of Jair, and if Stokes comes back and can play the way he did his rookie season, Xavier McKinney back there. Obviously, you've got youth back there as well with a guy like Bullard and such, and you've got some other guys that are really kind of pressing. You mentioned Valentine and such. I love this secondary. If they remain healthy, I love this secondary. Give me your thoughts on the secondary.
You know, when I say there's no glaring weakness right now, that's maybe not exactly how I expected it coming into camp, because I was very curious what the cornerback position specifically would look like, and really the secondary as a whole. But you knew that they shored up some of that with Xavier McKinney, right?
Right.
Safety was the obvious glaring weakness last year. And just by adding Xavier McKinney, they were going to be better there. But when you look at corner, there was a lot of ifs hanging over if Jair Alexander becomes Jair Alexander again, if Eric Stokes stays healthy, if Carrington Valentine can build off his promising rookie season as a 7th-round pick, then they can be good. Well, right now they're hitting on the ifs. I mean, Jair Alexander has been a different guy all offseason. He's been present and accountable throughout the entire offseason program. Seems very driven, motivated. And that's a dangerous thing for any opposing offense, because Jair Alexander at the top of his game, one of the best corners in the league. Eric Stokes has had a strong start to camp, and that's huge. Not only is he healthy, he's taken the football away a few times. He's looked really good, and if you can have those two guys on the perimeter shutting down the field, and then you have some depth. Carrington Valentine, again, out with the hamstring right now. But when he's been in there, he's looked good too. Eric Stokes' first-team reps isn't by a lack of another option. He's ahead of Carrington Valentine right now. Both are playing well. And then, so you mentioned filling that spot next to Xavier McKinney. They look like they have a couple options here. Javon Bullard, Evan Williams has looked really good as well as the 4th-round pick. I think the question is how long until you see both on the field together? How long until Javon Bullard's taking some slot reps in the nickel, and Evan Williams is more the safety? Something that they should have done with Darnell Savage in the past, but they never had another safety to replace him with. Darnell Savage is always more of a slot. He's going to be playing more slot in Jacksonville. They just didn't have another option. Now they have some depth back there to be more creative and get their guys in the best spot.
I love what they've got going on. You just pray that they don't have any kind of mass amount of injuries right now, because the depth always becomes an issue. But before I let you go, I do got to touch on the kicking game, because I know I heard Brian Gutekunst like last week before I went on vacation was talking about, well, we're going to have competition until we don't have competition. Give me your thoughts on the competition, what's going on right now in camp, and who you may be leaning towards.
It's way too early to know how this one's going to end. Both kickers are kicking well right now, and that's the good thing. It creates a good problem for the Packers to have. Greg Joseph, to this point in camp, has outkicked Anders Carlson, but that's not because Anders Carlson's fallen apart. He's kicked much better than a year ago. Greg Joseph's missed 3 kicks all at camp. He's kicked almost 40. That's really good. So we'll see if it continues, and at some point, one of these guys, we'll see if, once they get into the preseason, does someone blink here? Does it become an easier decision? Right now, I think it's a very difficult decision between the two. If it's close, you'd expect the Packers to maybe go with the guy they drafted. That's a premium asset there. But you never know. It's really early, and both guys are kicking at a high level. It's going to be very interesting to continue to watch that throughout the preseason.
Has the return game opened itself up to who's going to be doing the returning on both punting and kicking?
Bill, I don't think anyone has any idea what to expect from the return game when it comes to the new rules. As far as punt returns in terms of just the reps, it looks like Jaden Reed's taking it right now. We'll see how that goes in the preseason. That's when we get our best look at it. Obviously, Keyshawn Nixon is going to be the kickoff returner. To me, as Jaden Reed becomes more of a high-end, valuable asset to the offense, irreplaceable to the offense, the guy in the slot that can make a ton of plays, do your pre-snap motions in that LaFleur system, as he becomes more valuable there, I just don't see any reason why Keyshawn Nixon shouldn't be doing both. Why expose Jaden Reed to hits as punt returner when he's an irreplaceable piece to your offensive playmaker there? I would think eventually in time you're going to see Keyshawn Nixon doing both.
Yeah, I would probably lean in that direction with you as well. Plus, he's got extremely sure hands. So that's another thing that seemed to be a hard search for a while back when they just couldn't find somebody that was going to be consistent in catching the football. Always great to talk to you, Ryan. Appreciate the stuff. We'll keep reading and watching and all that kind of good stuff along the way, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
All right, enjoy the fair, Bill.
Thanks, pal. Talk to you soon. There you go. Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette, PackersNews.com, joining us on the hotline for a couple of minutes and saying hello. Great to get a lot of the one thing that I took out of that whole thing was, and again, knock on wood, I don't want to say anything and jinx it, but the one thing that I took out of the whole thing was that it's been somewhat of a mild injury camp. We haven't had anything major go on. There's been no major distractions, no major problems, none of that. So that's what about this camp excites me. When you start to talk about where are the big holes, where are the glaring weaknesses on this team, and you don't have glaring weaknesses, that's something that makes you go, okay, maybe things are going to be good. Maybe things are going to be good. Cross your fingers and hope. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. We are broadcasting live at the Wisconsin State Fair. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Quick Trip. God knows when you're out of state, I say it all the time, you love it, but you miss it. You miss it like crazy. You're missing Quick Trip. You start comparing others to Quick Trip as you're out and about. And nobody really, to be honest with you, compares to Quick Trip and what they have and what they offer. Miss Quick Trip like crazy. So whether it's going in for the bread, the milk, the bananas, the eggs, whatever it happens to be, or you're going in for a hot sandwich in the morning, maybe you're participating in the Coca-Cola cash grab contest. It's going all throughout the rest of August, giving away $500,000. Maybe you're earning rewards towards Brewers tickets. Something for everybody over at Quick Trip. And again, Quick Trip was one of the first sponsors to step up and say, we want to be a part of the motorcycle ride. We want to be in on this. We want to do it. Can't say thanks enough to our friends over there at Quick Trip for being a part of it. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, I'm Jeff Levering alongside Gina Della from Pella.
Thanks, Jeff. How do you say welcome?
With a new entry door from Pella.
Say it with color.
Like baseball bat oak or foul pole yellow?
Say it with class.
Like following players' unwritten baseball rules?
With clarity.
Like a no-doubter shot off the scoreboard?
Or with confidence.
Like an overachieving first-place team who experts predicted would be below average this season?
Before saying welcome with your new entry door from Pella, secure an incredible deal.
Like a ruthless baseball player's agent. Here's the deal you cannot pass up.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
That's the ball game. A Pella walk-off.
Your new entry door from Pella is installed and warranted by Pella for years of comfort and durability.
Don't miss out on 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
Schedule your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 8/31/2024.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. A couple of minutes before the top of the hour. 2 hours are gone. 2 more yet to go. Broadcasting live inside the Goose Island Ale House, where later on this afternoon they're going to do the custom tapping. They do it each and every day, a different brew made specifically for the Wisconsin State Fair. They tap it each and every day in the afternoon. So you already got some people that are coming in with their glasses that are getting ready for the tapping. But love to be here at the Goose Island Ale House, the Bud Pavilion, here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Today is NASCAR Day. The Milwaukee Mile is putting all their stuff on display, which is kind of cool. You've got a couple of the NASCAR pace cars across from me. They're going to have some drivers here from the Craftsman Truck Series a little bit later on today. Actually, I shouldn't say later. It's probably coming up here shortly, where they're going to start doing an autograph session right across from us. So that's kind of cool. So they've got that going on. So plenty of reasons to come out, other than the food and the beverages and all that kind of good stuff here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Plenty of reasons to come out to the fair today and all throughout the rest of the week. And we'll let you know what bands are playing and all that kind of good stuff coming up here in just a little bit as well. Coming up in the next hour, Craig Kashan is going to join us. We'll be talking with him. We may even have one of the NASCAR drivers swing by and say hello. The final hour of the show today, we're going to talk with Mike Clemens on site. Mike's going to join us here at the Wisconsin State Fair, and we'll chat with him about what he's seeing so far at Packers training camp. Don't go anywhere. Got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are making their way to Atlanta. It's where they're going to open up a series against the Braves tomorrow. They will do so having lost 3 straight series, including to 2 teams with losing records. The most recent was falling in 2 of 3 against the Nationals. Manager Pat Murphy said the recent run, just something that happens in baseball.
This is a young team that is going through it, man. You can say how bad you think the record of the Nationals is. Those guys are playing free. They play us tough. They did the same thing to us in Milwaukee. They played really good, and they played free, and we're young and vulnerable, and going through it a little bit.
Despite the struggles, Brewers lead in the NL Central still stands at 5.5 games on the Cardinals and 6 games on the Pirates. Again, they'll take on the Braves starting tomorrow night in Atlanta. Over in France, Giannis Antetokounmpo in Greece getting ready for the knockout stages of the competition. They're going to take on Germany tomorrow morning. The Germans unbeaten in pool play.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Get insurance from a company who knows Wisconsin and cares about your community. You may know Rural Mutual Insurance as the #1 farm insurer, but did you know they also offer competitive home and auto rates? Visit ruralmutual.com to learn more about products and discounts.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers could be back at the practice field tomorrow as they prep for their preseason opener on Saturday against Cleveland. And Wisconsin was back on the field this morning down in Platteville as the fall camp continues. Badgers quarterback competition is still ongoing between transfer Tyler Van Dyke and sophomore Braden Locke. Wisconsin will hold a practice open to fans on Saturday. They open the season 3 weeks from Friday against Western Michigan. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
We are live. We are at the Wisconsin State Fair, and everything that's on a stick is floating around here somewhere. Welcome into the Bill Michaels Show. We are inside the Goose Island Ale House, and we are just enjoying our time here. Always do. Love this place. The Bud Pavilion, they've got the Oompa band that was playing earlier is still playing, but they are now playing Jimmy Buffett tunes to the Oompa accordion horn style of their own. So it's a little weird, but I could still sit here on a warm day and you got beverages around you and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, the Oompa bands are flowing. So not a bad way to go. Welcome into the program. Good to have you. You want to get a hold of us, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to text us, 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. You can find me on X at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, simply The Bill Michaels at any one of those, Instagram.com or Facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. The Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on YouTube. Great way to pay attention to the program as well on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. And please hit subscribe and subscribe to us as well. We always appreciate it when you do. We're going to have Packers coverage for you all year long. We're going to have the huddles that are going to be running on Wednesday night. We're going to have the Green and Gold postgame show, the best postgame show that's out there, in my opinion, and many others apparently. So we're going to have the postgame show for you. So we got all kinds of good stuff coming up all throughout this year when it comes to Packers coverage, Brewers, and the chase for a championship down the stretch in 2024. We'll have all of that as the Bucks heat up in October, November. We'll get back into Bucks basketball, the Badgers as well, Badger football coming here at the end of August into September. So we cover it all, and we have it all. So please subscribe here, and we try to talk about all the divisions, Big Ten, and all that kind of stuff as well. So we try to cover it all for you. This one's from Mark. Mark said, so what happened to you on vacation? I've been waiting to hear. Mark, I apologize. I did not get to it right away because we went right out of the shooting last hour into Gerard, who we had on the line, and we had back-to-back calls. So great to be back from vacation. Don't get me wrong. I was on vacation, went back to the East Coast, which is where Kristen is from. We went to Rhode Island. We went to Boston. We were in Newport. We were all over that area. And we were in Foxborough, went up and saw Gillette Stadium, and it was a great time. And I had kind of mentioned it a little earlier that I caught a bug. I don't know. I believe I ate something that gave me a bug. Now, I didn't get sick. It wasn't like I was throwing up and, whatever. But the opposite end, I don't know how to put this. I'll put it as delicately as I can. The opposite end, yeah, it wasn't good. It got to the point where I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat food. And it's a shame because in that area, you love all the seafood. But I think it was something via seafood that made me sick. I even ended up going to urgent care because, again, I didn't feel bad. But everywhere we went, I needed to be near a bathroom just in case. And it got pretty intense. I ended up losing about 8 pounds in the last week of just water and body fluid, and so it was terrible. It was awful. So when I got home and I went to urgent care, they said no food for you for 48 to 72 hours. Stick with liquids and proteins, and they gave me some pills to take. So it's sitting here at the fair today. Today is not the day that I can sit down and start eating all this stuff because I got to give my body and my insides a little bit of a rest. But I lost weight, and other than that, it was good. We did not do anything because of me being a little bit, ill, I'll say. But everywhere we went, we had to be cognizant of where the restrooms were. So that is the most clean, G-rated version of this that I can possibly tell you. The vacation was great. It was great to rest, sit on the beach a couple of days, smoke a cigar, have at it, all that kind of good stuff. But for the most part, it was not it was not the fully food indoctrinated vacation I was kind of hoping for. I did have a meatball sub. I did have some seafood. I did, we went to, I did have some pretzels at Fenway. We had some Fenway dogs. I did everything I wanted to do. But I just, once Monday hit, it was, I was not, I was not going to be anywhere for more than a minute or so away from a bathroom, put it that way. So that's my G-rated version. So that's what happened to me. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, by all means, go ahead and do so. Kyle says, my wife just got over that. It lasted about a month for her. This is more food-based, they believe, like a salmonella but I didn't throw up, or a cryptosporidium or something like that. They tested me for all of that stuff, and I don't know what the results of the test are as of yet, but they were testing me for all that stuff. But it was liquid. It was bad. It was bad. I mean, I would wake up in the middle of the night. There was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday flying home. I was probably making a visit to the facilities 15 times a day. And that's not exaggerating. That's being honest. Some days more, some day maybe one or two less. But it was rough. I mean, it was, yeah. But the worst part about it was I felt so bloated I couldn't eat. And the smell of fried foods would almost make me sick. But I got so bloated I couldn't eat, even though I didn't have any food in my body at that point. I was trying to eat little things like graham crackers and saltines, and every now and then we'd go out and I'd be like, well, I'd have a turkey club, and boom, that was it. So it wasn't great, but that was it. That was my trip. The trip itself was great. We saw Battleship Cove. We went on a couple of the ships. We went on the USS Massachusetts, on the Joseph P. Kennedy, on the submarine that was anchored there as well. Then from there, we saw Gillette Stadium the next day, the Patriots Hall of Fame. That entire massive complex that they built around Foxborough is just amazing. Amazing, that massive complex around that stadium. But when I went to, one thing, and I'll post these pictures too, because I think I forgot to, but when we went up in the lighthouse, which is the giant tower that's at the end, in the end zone, the backside of Gillette Stadium, I was all set to see the football field. I mean, I've been there before, but I was all set to see the football field and everything. And it was gone. They were setting up for the Metallica concert that day. Metallica played last Friday, Saturday, or Friday and Sunday or something like that. But Metallica's there. So they had this massive, the field was gone. So they had this massive stage, this in the round stage set up for Metallica, which was actually pretty cool within itself. So did that, like I said, spent the day in Newport a couple of days, on the beaches a couple of days. It was a great trip. There you go. So a great trip. 877-867-1670. Coming up bottom of the hour, Craig Kashana is going to join us. We'll talk with him about this Brewers team. And they're losing series. They're losing to bad clubs. But more so than anything, the very soft landing of the trade deadline, where you were kind of looking for a pounding punch for the Brewers to say, kind of go for it. Never happened. And, we even had Tim Dillard on the show at one point, and Tim Dillard thought that they would make a splash, and it just didn't happen. They really believe they're going to get better through osmosis, through just getting guys healthy again and getting back into their routine, whatever you want to call it. But I was a little underwhelmed, I think, by the Brewers at the trade deadline and the Brewers' play since coming out of the All-Star break, sitting at 7-7 at 500. Now, I'm still waiting for the run. We're looking for the run. We're looking for 8 games in a row, 9 games in a row, whatever. They haven't gone on that run yet. They haven't done that. So I'm kind of hoping for that, or maybe win 9 out of 10. Something like that. Something where you win 5, you lose 1, you win the next 4. Before you lose again, something like that, to kind of stack some success like that, start winning series again. I'm kind of waiting for that to happen. So we'll see. But we'll talk with Craig Kashan coming up bottom of the hour about all of this. This one, I did want to get to a couple of the emails because we got so many of them today. This one's from our buddy Steve. Says, hey, my first level of concern for the Crew is about a 4 right now. Even though they struggled this past week, they do seem to chip away, and they've had some opportunities to win some ball games. The past couple of games, Savali and Myers both got 2 quick outs and then homers they gave up. Savali just lost it after 2 quick outs. Then in a blink of an eye, they were down 4-0. As I have mentioned before, this team is a resilient bunch, and they are due to go on some kind of a run that you alluded to, 10 out of the next 13 games at home against quality teams. That would be a good time to go on the run. This may be the season-defining homestand in one way or the other. Family night was an enjoyable one to watch. Jordan Love seems to have picked up where he left off. The defense was flying all over the field. The kickoffs are interesting and will be entertaining, to say the very least, throughout the first part of the season. Let's hope that they continue to stay away from the injury bug. My biggest concern for this team is, at this stage, the backup quarterback position. Neither Clifford or Pratt have shown a lot, and perhaps some game time experience will be beneficial for them, and the one or the twos begin to step forward. By the way, big shout out to Sloppy Joe's. We went there Saturday, and the brisket was freaking awesome. That's our buddy Steve listening to us in Ridgefield. Steve, appreciate the email, as always. This one is from Jan. Jan says, hey, Unit, did you watch all of the family night? My grandchild, there you go, my grandchild was the one catching the punts. Jan didn't know that, but kudos to that kid. I've seen it 2 or 3 times where he's caught all 3 punts, and then the team they're jumping, they're high-fiving. It was just a great moment for the team. This one's from Kurt. Kurt says, my only concern for this team is going to be the secondary. If Jair keeps his head together and Stokes continues to stay injury-free, this could be one of the best secondaries in all of football. But he goes on to say, my concern is to whether or not the backups are going to be good enough, because we figure Jair is going to go down with an injury at some point, and Stokes has not been able to stay healthy. So you do have to look at the backups as full-time starters, because they're one injury away from being used as that. That may be, if you talk about a glaring weakness on this team, I think with the depth at wide receiver, barring a mass amount of injuries, they're good. They've got good tight end play. They've got good running backs. The offensive line seems to have some good depth to it. The defensive front, when you look at Gary and Clark and Devontae Wyatt, Preston Smith, Lucas Van Ness, TJ Slayton, Carl Brooks, Engabari, Colby Wooden. I mean, their draft classes have been pretty good in that sense. Jonathan Ford. They seem to be pretty good up front. It's that secondary that, when you're looking at Quay Walker, when you're looking at Edrin Cooper, when you're looking at Isaiah McDuffie, and then you get into the secondary, I don't know if there's a ton of depth there that is sustainable to season-ending injuries. That may be when you talk about a weakness on this team, it may not be anybody of the starters, because everybody's pretty good, but it may be the depth. But we'll have to wait and see. You want to see what Oladapo does, Williams does. Obviously there's Corey Valentine and Kalen King and Keyshawn Nixon and such. It seems to be good, but that's the only glaring weakness, if there is, that I would even kind of allude to on this team. So hopefully that answers your question, and appreciate it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. Going to take a quick break, come back. Don't forget, bottom of the hour, Craig Kashan is going to be joining us. Hey, there's a great group out there called Veterans America. They do mortgages, refis, all that kind of stuff for military members, veterans, their families. They believe, look, own the land you defend. They believe in it big time. They want to help you get all that the VA loans and such have to offer. They know all the loopholes. They know all the back doors. They know all the ins and outs. Call our friends over there at Veterans America, 262-255-2000. You deserve it. 262-255-2000, or go to veteransamerica.com. That's veteransamerica.com. We'll be back right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program. Good to have you. We're broadcasting live at the Wisconsin State Fair. I love the fair. Love the fair. Big time today. Getting back at it, Casting Crows. It's going to be on the main stage tonight at the State Fair main stage. On the 5 and 9, the Bank 5-9 amphitheater stage, you've got Herman's Hermits, who every year make an appearance here at the Wisconsin State Fair. And then you've got just a whole lot of music, a whole lot of beverages and music and all kinds of good stuff coming up today. You've got all kinds of things happening at the Bud Pavilion. Right now, the Steve Meisner Legacy Band is on the stage. You've got the FBI and the Untouchable Horns later on today. You've got Red's Line Dancing Party coming up later on tonight on this Monday at the fair, and a lot of good stuff happening all throughout. You've got that in the Tropics. You got the Eddie Butts Band over there, Liquid Crush over at Knuckleheads. You've got Left's. You've got the Britons at Left's Place tonight, Chain Smoking Altar Boys and Major Goolsby. So a lot of good stuff music-wise heading out here at the fair today. So come on by and say hi. The kids would love Spin City, which is just a tremendous amount of activity when it comes to the typical carnival rides, festival rides, fair rides, if you will. So no reason, unless, of course, you're working today, no reason not to come to the Wisconsin State Fair. So glad to have you on board, though. Coming up bottom of the hour, Craig Kashan is going to be joining us. I got some emails that are coming in and some things that are coming in via the text line as well. Bill, as good as Love has looked at quarterback, who needs to be does he need to have a strong team around him? Or is he capable of lifting this team up on his shoulders like we saw Rodgers and Favre do? That's a really good question. That's a really good question. I believe, now this is just me, I believe that Jordan Love, if you watch that game last year against New Orleans, down by 18 in the fourth quarter, where he started just slinging it, and he was hitting open receivers, he was running with the football, diving into the end zone, he brought him back from 18. I'm not going to say he did it alone, as nobody can do it alone, but he that's where he showed moxie. So do I believe he's capable of throwing a team on his back like that? I do. Because I don't believe yet that he's Favre and Rodgers. I believe he can throw a team on his back. I believe he can be a leader. Hell yeah, I can believe that. But I haven't seen enough to say where he's just going to go down 2 minutes to go in the game. He's down inside his own 10-yard line. He's going to walk into the huddle and go, okay, guys, we're going to go win this thing. Here I go. And then next thing you know, it's boom, off to the right, boom, off to the left, take a run for 20 yards, take a couple of hits, bounce back up, kind of power through. I don't know if I'm fully vested in that. But, yeah, I've seen him bring this team back before. Absolutely. I think he can do that. This one's from Dr. Pepper, says the saving grace has been the Cardinals have been beaten by the Cubs 3 out of 4. Counsel is at least good for something. Cheryl, listening to us in Platteville, said, hey, Bill, did they actually test you for crypto? It kind of sounds like that. I had it along with my daughter, who was 4 at the time. They're testing for everything. Cryptosporidium, they're testing for salmonella, they're testing for whatever thing that can be stored within a body. Yes, they're testing for. I don't know what the result is. I will say this. I got home. I started on medication on Saturday morning. I got my medication Saturday morning. And I've been pretty good since. The worst is definitely over. Let's put it that way, unless they find something that's worse than that. They even tested for like diverticulitis or something, So, but yes, they were testing me for everything. Yep. Aaron in Marshfield says, that was the tamest bathroom description you have ever given on the air. Okay. I'm good for something, I guess. Yeah. It's near lunchtime, You don't want to talk about that stuff, and people are sitting in front of me eating cream puffs and burgers, So, you don't want to do that. Come on. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Also more texts over on the text line, the 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. You can hit us there as well. Real quick, Mark says, I believe the running back position is going to be the most valuable to this team. They're going to take a lot of the pressure off of Jordan Love, and therefore it's going to open up receivers as well. Do you think this hamstring injury to Josh Jacobs is going to be something that's going to be nagging throughout the season? First of all, thanks for listening. I hope not. I mean, what I think, do I think? I don't know how severe it was. I don't know if it was just something that he felt it tighten. If it tightened up and they said, okay, that's it. We're not even going to risk it. We're going to shut you down for a few weeks. Okay. If it was a pull and it was painful for a couple of days and, you get that blood bruising back there in the backside of your thigh and all that stuff, then that's going to be, then I would answer your question with a yes. It'll be something that lingers throughout the season. It is very hard to just fully recover from something like that. So I don't know what the severity is, but I do know before he had a little bit of a tweak, I do know he was impressing the hell out of people that were watching him play. That I do know. So I hope, cross your fingers, I hope that it's not an injury that's going to be, nagging throughout the season. Because we saw what injuries like that do to running backs. We saw that all last year up until the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 games of the season with, Aaron Jones. So, I hope not. Knock on wood that it's not a bad pull by any stretch of the imagination. This one's from Danny. Danny says, hey, Unit, glad to have you back. The other guys did a fine job in your absence. They're just not you. I love listening to the program each and every day. I live down here in Appleton. Can you tell me your thoughts on Matt LaFleur's offense and what he may or may not do this upcoming season and how much credit he should be given for what the Packers did last year? First of all, Danny, that's a great question because we don't talk about that nearly enough. I think last year, how do I say this? The offense was run the way it's meant to be run. If that makes sense to you. I think Matt LaFleur did a masterful job of play calling. I think Jordan Love ran the offense the way it's supposed to be run. And I know that is very much a backhanded slap towards Aaron Rodgers. I understand that. People can take it that way. But doesn't it make you wonder if that's the offense that we've been waiting to see? And if you just drop back and get rid of the ball quick and get it into the hands of the playmakers and give them opportunities, whether you trust them or you don't. If they're open, hit them. Whether you trust them or you don't. And give them an opportunity for redemption on a consistent basis. That's the way the offense was supposed to look. So, it's kind of like what comes first, the quarterback or the great quarterback or the great wide receiver, who makes who, and then the play calling via the coordinator or the coach and setting up plays to counter what it is defenses are doing with the talent that he has and putting players in the best possible positions to make plays and be successful. What comes first? Or do they all just kind of culminate together to look that good at that period of time? Matt LaFleur's play calling last year and the job that he did, as critical as I was throughout really the first half of the season, and it got to the point where there were people screaming for backup quarterbacks, and the offense was terrible and yada, yada, yada. We all know that. As critical as I was, I turned it around and gave him that much praise throughout the end of the season, the postseason, and in the offseason, because that was fun to watch. It wasn't like it was the greatest show on turf, but that was just fun to watch. That was great to see different guys being heroes in different moments in different plays. And this goes back to what I was talking about in the first hour of the show. I had the conversation on CBS Sports on Friday night. Do they have Pro Bowl wide receivers? Those guys may morph into a Pro Bowl wide receiver, but collectively, they all don't need to be great. They just need to make great plays at pivotal times, So in that sense, I think everything just kind of grew together. And that's why I'm excited about this season, because whether it's the play calling, the quarterback play, the wide receiver play, the ability to run the football, the solidification of the offensive line, tight ends that are 2 quality tight ends, 3 quality tight ends for that matter. They can all be pass catchers. They can move the sticks so you can continue to live and fight another day. Then maybe you're on the delivering end of death by 1,000 cuts, instead of the Packers defense with Joe Barry living in that mode for so long. So I'm excited about all of it, to be perfectly honest with you. I really, really, truly am. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. But coming up next, let's talk a little Brewers baseball, shall we? Craig Kashan, Bally Sports, going to be joining us. We'll talk with him about this Brewers team. And they're not setting the world on fire right now. And we'll get his reaction to the trade deadline, all that kind of stuff coming up. So don't go anywhere. I want to remind you, coming up in a couple of weeks, about a week and a half, I'm going to be out on lacrosse. Some of the things I love to see in lacrosse, I love to go to Buzzard Billy's. I love the Starlight Lounge. And I love Big Boar Barbecue. Big Boar Barbecue, lunches, dinners, catering. Call them 608-612-0387 or just go to bigboarbbq.com. That's bigboarbbq.com in West Salem, Wisconsin for great barbecue, whether it's the dry rub or the sauced up ribs, the pulled pork, the chicken, the mac and cheese, the coleslaw. Oh, the coleslaw is so good. All of that really, really good stuff from our friends at Big Boar Barbecue. Family owned as well. Good local business. That's Big Boar Barbecue. Again, go to bigboarbbq.com.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes.
The 17th annual Big Unit Poker Run, the largest annual motorcycle ride in the state of Wisconsin, will take place on Sunday, September 1st. The ride benefits veterans, military members, first responders, and their families. But this year we went big. After the ride, it's rockin' the Red, White, and Brew Fest. On stage will be local band Six Pack Sammy, the best CZ Top cover band in the country, Eliminator, Count 77 featuring Danny Coker, a.k.a. The Count, 80s rocker Lita Ford, and then our headliner, Jackal, takes the stage. To get registered to ride, including your Red, White, and Brewfest ticket, go to BigUnitFoundation.com. That's BigUnitFoundation.com. If you can't ride with us, that's okay. Get your tickets at RWBFestivalMKE.com.
When will it rain? I feel the heat burning through my shoes.
Welcome back. Good to have you. We are broadcasting live at the Wisconsin State Fair. If you want to come over and say hi, you look for us near the Budweiser Pavilion, which is right across the road there, the complex there from the Cream Puff Pavilion. We're inside the Goose Island Ale House, where they have the keg tapping coming up later on today. They have an individual keg for each and every day of the fair with some kind of special craft ale. So a lot of people start lining up for that early on and bring the mugs, and you get one of those frosty new beverages that are made only for the fair. Kind of good in that sense. In the meantime, you come out to the fair and you sit here in the Bud Pavilion and you can see all the different sports on TVs. So whether it's the Olympics that are on now, or even the Brewers game. Speaking of Brewers games, our buddy Craig Kashan is joining us, Bally Sports, and covering the Brewers on the hotline. Craig, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing well. How about you?
We're doing good. I get back from vacation. I would have loved to have seen a little more wins, a few more wins out of the Brewers, and maybe some kind of a splash when it comes to the trade deadline. But all in all, they're still on top, 5.5 games up on the Cardinals. The Cubs did the Brewers a little bit of favors over the weekend. But give me your thoughts on the team. They're 500 since the All-Star break. I mean, losing Christian Yelich, that support leader, so to speak, on the field is a little difficult, and maybe a lot difficult to overcome. But give me your thoughts as to where this team's at right now.
Well, they're clearly in their first real run of the year, Bill, and so they're fighting through it here right now. And to be in that position without Christian Yelich is obviously, to me anyway. I said this on our post game show. I think I think they're really seriously missing this guy, because how do you make up for a professional hitter? How do you make up for a guy that was leading the league in batting, when he went down?
and ask, four really, really young, inexperienced guys to somehow make up for it. It's been a difficult ride from that aspect. And I don't know if this is a team where one guy carries them, but I think one guy certainly drives the engine. And I said this yesterday too. I mean, this guy's the pistons. This guy is everything that makes that engine go. And if you don't have those key components, it's going to be tough. And that's what we've seen, I think, in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
So I see Reese Hoskins, while I was gone, he's starting to pick up a little bit offensively speaking, but there's some guys that are still really struggling. Contreras is one of them. Give me your thoughts on Contreras. Is he just tired, or did pitching catch up to him, or is he just trying to battle his way out of a funk right now?
Probably all of those, to be honest with you. I don't know if he's tired, but I think that his approach at the plate is different than it was earlier this year. I think when the season starts and really, really well for you, you can pretty much do almost anything you want. Talented, and he is. But then pitching caught up to him, I thought. I think some minor injuries caught up to him a little bit as well. And now I just think his swing and his approach to the plate is different than it was earlier. So he can definitely figure this out. And obviously, if he does, I think it's going to only benefit the Brewers, because who knows what player right now is going to be able to step up. A lot of them need to, a lot of them can. But if this guy can return, I think, to form, what we saw in April and May and part of June, they're going to be much, much better off.
So what do we know about some of the guys that they're waiting on that are hoping to come back? Obviously, you're looking to get some of your arms back. You're looking to get healthy. And I think that's the reason, at least that was what I believe, is that they didn't make a big splash because they believe they're going to get better through osmosis through some of their own guys coming back. Who are we looking to return at this point quickly?
Well, I would think that DL Hall is not far at all from coming back. I think right now they're trying to figure out how they want to use him. I think originally when he started his rehab, I think maybe they were kind of leaning towards coming out of the bullpen like he did last year for Baltimore down the stretch at this time. He hasn't hardly started in the majors. We all understand that, but they're stretching him out now to, 90 to 100 pitches in the next 2 rehab starts before he comes back. And to me, that's saying that they're not confident all the way around with who they have in that starting rotation right now, and would be more than willing to put him in there. And they may need him. I mean, the way things are going, that's where they are with him. And I think the other big key ingredient right now is Brian Hudson, the big lefty. He just started his rehab yesterday. It's going to be a little bit for him. But if they can get those 2 guys back, they're 2 key left-handed arms. They're going to be obviously in much better shape. So, and Christian Yelich is just flat out a mystery right now. I mean, no idea if he'll even come back. And if he does, it's got to be at a really reasonable time for him to be able to be back to 100% and produce for this team. Probably.
Well, I hope that he's able to come back, and I hope I didn't lose Craig because he was breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's on my end or Craig's end, but I hope Christian Yelich is able to come back. But if he comes back, that he's fully healthy, that he's been cleared to say, okay, you're good to go. This is not going to be something that you tweak really hard again. The good news was no season-ending or career-ending surgery, because there was a lot of ominous feelings about that when he ended up going down with the injury. But you kind of hope that he comes back and he's able to kind of provide at least some of what he was providing for. Is Craig still there? Craig, you there?
I can hear you.
There we go. Okay, we got him back. That's good. Let me ask you.
I'm in the middle of nowhere. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I wanted to ask you, when you were talking about the pitching staff and some of the guys that you're kind of hoping to come back now, who they acquired. Obviously, I didn't think anything like a CC Sabathia splash was out there. But I got to ask you, Craig, at what point, you're always going to be small market. You're never going to start the season with a $300 million payroll. At what point, if you're the Brewers and you're the front office, do you say, you know what, I think there's something special about this team. We got to go for it. We're gonna make that big splash. At what point do you think they do that, if any?
Well, I really don't know, to be honest. I don't know if they ever will. I would have on this. Where they can negotiate with somebody during the off season and be willing to pay him and, have some kind of team control like they did with Rhys Hoskins. I mean, he's getting paid handsomely and he's going to be around next year. And this is another reason why we're hoping, obviously, to get some more production. But I don't know if they ever will. I mean, I don't think right now the way the playoff format is set and the way they've been able to develop their young talent that they need to do that at this point in time, to be honest with you. I think right now they're concentrating on, paying the guys that they have, like, Churio and Yelich is still winding up, his contract as well. And who knows who's going to emerge, out of some young position players and talented pitching at this point either. So I would lean on probably not, especially a midseason splash like that. But we'll see what the future holds. It's all past that now, so they gotta move forward.
Craig, it's always great to talk to you, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully a few more wins are in the future for the crew, and then we'll get you on down the road, okay?
Sounds good.
Thanks, pal. There you go. Craig Kashan from Valley Sports joining us for a couple of minutes. And as he said, he's in the middle of nowhere. He's just out enjoying, on an off day, nature, I guess. That's what he's doing. We're enjoying the Wisconsin State Fair, as you know. If you want to swing by and say hi, you can. But we're right across the street from the Cream Puff Pavilion inside the Goose Island Ale House next to the Bud Pavilion. Come on by. You've got you got some good music on the stage right now, some oompa stuff, and people are out there dancing and partying and all that kind of good stuff right now. Beverages are flowing, burgers are flowing. Some of the Sporky award-winning, I don't even know what the hell that is. It's like you literally have like 200 boxes of Glazers in the kitchen back here. They take the Glazers, they put the burger and stuff, whatever it is, between the Glazers, and the Glazers act as like a hamburger bun. That's like deliciousness overload. It just does. On one hand, it makes my mouth water. On the other hand, I don't know if I could take it at this point. But that being said, we've got that going on over here at the Bud Pavilion. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk a little racing when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show live out here at the Wisconsin State Fair. That's next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, I'm Jeff Levering alongside Gina Della from Pella.
Thanks, Jeff. How do you say welcome?
With a new entry door from Pella.
Say it with color.
Like baseball bat oak or foul pole yellow?
Say it with class.
Like following players' unwritten baseball rules.
With clarity.
Like a no-doubter shot off the scoreboard?
Or with confidence.
Like an overachieving first-place team who experts predicted would be below average this season.
Before saying welcome with your new entry door from Pella, secure an incredible deal.
Like a ruthless baseball player's agent. Here's the deal you cannot pass up.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
That's the ball game. A Pella walk-off.
Your new entry door from Pella is installed and warranted by Pella for years of comfort and durability.
Don't miss out on 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
Schedule your free and-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 8/31/2024.
Appreciate
it. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes.
The 17th annual Big Unit Poker Run, the largest annual motorcycle ride in the state of Wisconsin, will take place on Sunday, September 1st. The ride benefits veterans, military members, first responders, and their families. But this year we went big. After the ride, it's rockin' the Red, White, and Brew Fest. On stage will be local band Six Pack Sammy, the best CZ Top cover band in the country, Eliminator, Count 77 featuring Danny Coker, a.k.a. The Count, 80s rocker Lita Ford, and then our headliner Jackal takes the stage. To get registered to ride, including your Red, White, and Brewfest ticket, go to BigUnitFoundation.com. That's BigUnitFoundation.com. If you can't ride with us, that's okay. Get your tickets at RWBFestivalMKE.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute.
Good to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show. We are live. We're at the Wisconsin State Fair. Thanks to the nice note from Chris, who lives up in Menominee Marinette. We got Jake living over in Tomahawk, wanting to know we're going to be back up there for a huddle show as well. But we got a lot of stuff planned all over the state. We'll be in La Crosse next week. We're going to be at Chippewa Falls tomorrow. And obviously a lot of other stuff going on as well. Joining us here at the Wisconsin State Fair, I kind of alluded to this a little earlier, and so it actually happened. Ty Majeski is sitting here with us, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racer. And, well, first of all, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is awesome. I've actually never been to the State Fair before. So
really? And you live in Appleton?
I am. I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Parents never brought you down?
Never been brought down. So what do I have to try here? I heard there's all kinds of exotic foods.
Here's the hidden thing is everybody loves the cream puff.
Okay.
They have award-winning brownies over there.
Oh, wow.
Get the chocolate brownie.
Yeah.
They're about that big, and they look like giant Reese cups. They're amazing.
I got to try it.
Those are the best.
You talked me into it.
Oh, because I buy boxes of them. I take them home. I freeze them and eat them throughout the year.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So how you been, man?
Good to be here. I just excited. We've come off a win here at Indy, and we have Richmond this weekend, and then at the end of the month we come here on Sunday the 25th for the NASCAR Truck Series playoff opener. So I'm excited to get going.
So bringing this back to the Milwaukee Mile, no banking really in this thing. It's not very steep. How physical is it to run on a mile track all out and not have much banking? You're just basically fighting the car the entire time.
Yeah, typically our tracks have some banking, and this is definitely one of the flatter tracks we go to, as well as IRP, which is the track that I won at here 2 weeks ago. So hopefully we can take some of those things that we learned and worked well at IRP and transfer them here to Milwaukee Mile. Just longer straightaway is really the only difference between those two tracks. So, it's a tough little racetrack. Hard to obviously find the grip. You don't have the grip that you would find in the banking at a place like this, and you got to find it mechanically in your truck.
The show you guys are going to put on is awesome in the sense that Milwaukee Mile is kind of getting some new life. You're putting breath back into that facility. It's got to be exciting to come back to your home state and be able to race in something that's that iconic and to kind of reopen that back up again.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Mile has been such a staple in Wisconsin short track racing for a number of years. All the legends have raced here, have won here. And it's really cool that it's being brought back. It's neat to have a Wisconsin, sort of a home Wisconsin race for myself.
Yeah.
On the upper series or upper levels of NASCAR. That's kind of been missing. And I feel like there's Wisconsin short track racing is such a honey hole for fans and just motorsports in general. And I feel like it's a missed opportunity if NASCAR doesn't come here. So it's good to see. Hopefully we can keep it rolling in years to come.
So you and I, the last time we talked, we were up at Road America was when we had talked back then. And I always ask you, what are the aspirations? Is it to get into the Cup Series? Is it to go to the IndyCar side? Is it because you always want to ascend? You want to be good, but you want to continue to ascend to bigger and bigger, for lack of a better term, paychecks, so to speak, right?
Yeah, you definitely do. I think, NASCAR is so interesting to me. There's no blueprint to it, right? So, if you're a baseball player, you play, little league, then through high school, and then you get drafted, and then it's high A, double A, triple A, right? And into the majors, if you're good, you're going to make it there. And NASCAR is really not like that. There's so much of a business side to this sport, and you need something more than talent sometimes to get you to the upper series. So, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, last time we talked, of course you want to be a Cup driver. I do. I want to be a Cup driver. But there's something to be said for job security and knowing what you're going to do next year and having a long-lasting career in NASCAR. And I think I found a home in that in the NASCAR Truck Series with ThorSport Racing. They've treated me so well, and I feel like I have a really good deal where I'm at now. So it would take a lot to get me to move away from the opportunity I'm in right now. But you never know.
So what do you like better? You like the short tracks? You like longer tracks? You like road courses? What kind of suits your drivability?
Well, just the next track. I like them all. No, I'm a short track guy, right? I grew up Wisconsin short track racing. Kaukauna. There's all kinds of racetracks. Madison, La Crosse, Slinger. There's all kinds of them up here. So I definitely feel like I show more on the short tracks. But I've run well on the road courses. I've won Homestead. That's a 1.5 mile intermediate. The only tracks I really haven't taken to yet are the big super speedways. There's just so much out of your control with the restrictor plate racing. So that's something I need to get better at. But other than that, I feel like we can show up to the racetrack with a chance to win at any type of track, which is big.
You've had quite a bit of recent success. Do you feel like, Jordan used to call it being in his zone. Do you feel like everything's clicking right now?
I do. I think so. Our team always seems to peak around playoff time. This 2 weeks ago was actually my first win outside of the playoffs. So our team always seems to start hitting on all 8 cylinders here. During playoff time, we're doing the same thing again. So excited to get going. Hopefully we can make a playoff run and make the Final Four at Phoenix and finally bring it home.
So when you go to Phoenix, that's big track.
It's a mile, so it's actually
really
actually pretty similar.
I thought Phoenix was similar. I thought Phoenix was more of a super speedway.
It's not. No, it's not. It's a mile. It feels like bigger. It's a bigger mile than Milwaukee Mile, if that makes sense. It just feels a little bit bigger, but very similar. Flat corners.
Yeah.
So we're actually trying some things from a setup perspective here, hoping to apply that later in the year at Phoenix.
Do you have different cars? One you'll run for the flat tracks with very little banking, and another. Okay.
Yeah, so it's more short track trucks versus 1.5 mile trucks and then super speedway trucks. So each individual team, so my 98 team, the trucks that I drive, we usually have about 7 or 8 trucks in our stable. And then I have 4 other teammates. So times that by,
wow,
7, 8 times 5, you're talking 40 trucks in a fleet at ThorSport. So it's a big operation and it's fun.
It's a lot of money.
It costs some money to go racing, yes.
Well, best of luck. We'll be here when you guys come back. But, man, I appreciate you swinging by because I know you got to go back and sign some autographs, but appreciate you swinging over.
Appreciate having me on.
There you go. There you go. Ty Majeski joining us for a couple of minutes here. And before we get out of here, I do want to let you know that, at least for this particular hour, coming up in the next hour, Mike Clemens is going to be joining us. And he's going to be here. We'll talk all Packers all the time in the last 3 segments of the show. So coming up in the next hour, Mike Clemens is going to be here with us. But I love talking NASCAR. I love talking racing and all that kind of good stuff. So I appreciate everybody kind of bearing with me. I know you want to talk a lot of Brewers, a lot of Packers, and we will, and we have. But, that's going to be coming to the Milwaukee Mile right here behind the State Fair Park on August 25th when the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series comes roaring back into the Milwaukee Mile. And the mile is getting some more and more action with the ARCA races that have gone through here, some of the other races that have gone through, and now NASCAR as well. IndyCar is going to be here. So a lot of good racing still to go at the Milwaukee Mile and in the state of Wisconsin as well. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Mike Clemens. He's going to be joining us. We'll talk. If you got a question, by the way, regarding anything Packers related, get it to me, whether it's on the stream or over on text, which is 608-321-1670. You can hit us up there, email it to us. I'll see if Mike can answer it for you. If I don't have the answer, I'll see what Mike can do, but we'll get that done for you as well. This portion of the program, before we go to break, brought to you by our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Pella is, I've got them in my house. I absolutely positively love them, whether it's the entry door system, the patio doors, the windows, the safety, security at night, the curb appeal, the value that it's added to my home, the economical factor that it's added to my home, different innovations, different lines of windows, whether it's the Impervia windows, which are as strong as fiberglass, or it's the windows that are vinyl, or the wood windows, all the different sizes and styles of wood windows as well, that they can make look like your windows came originally with your home. If you want to make it look that way, if you've got a historic home, you can do that as well. That's our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. The biggest thing about Pella, they provide you with a free, and we all know free is for me, a free Free in-home consultation. They can come there, they can take a look at the windows, tell you what you need, what you don't need, all that kind of good stuff, and then give you options, whether it's different hardware, different innovations that they have. So they've got so much. All you got to do is call them 855-PELLA-WI. That is 855-PELLA-WI, or go to PELLAWI.com. That is PELLAWI.com. Get a hold of them over there and say hello and tell them we sent you. Make sure you tell them we sent you. Go to PELLAWI.com. That is PELLAWI.com. Coming up at the next hour, we're going to talk a lot of Packers. Mike Clements is going to be here live and in person at the Wisconsin State Fair. And if you're looking for us at the fair, we are inside the Goose Island Ale House. Goose Island Ale House, right next to the Budweiser Pavilion, across from the Cream Puff Pavilion. Come on by and say hi. Love seeing everybody's faces and shaking a hand and fist bumping and all that kind of good stuff as you come past the window. Love to have you. So another hour yet to go. Don't go anywhere. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are making their way to Atlanta. It's where they're going to open up a series against the Braves tomorrow. They will do so having lost 3 straight series, including to 2 teams with losing records. The most recent was falling in 2 of 3 against the Nationals. Manager Pat Murphy said the recent run, just something that happens in baseball.
This is a young team that is going through it, man. You can say how bad you think the record of the Nationals is. Those guys are playing free. They play us tough. They did the same thing to us in Milwaukee. They played really good and they played free, and we're young and vulnerable and going through it a little bit.
Despite the struggles, Brewers lead in the NL Central still stands at 5.5 games on the Cardinals and 6 games on the Pirates. Again, they'll take on the Braves starting tomorrow night in Atlanta. Over in France, Giannis Antetokounmpo in Greece getting ready for the knockout stages of the competition. They're going to take on Germany tomorrow morning. The Germans unbeaten in pool play.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
You may know Rural Mutual Insurance as the #1 farm insurer, but did you know they also offer competitive home, auto, business, and life insurance? They make it convenient to bundle your insurance while saving you time and money. Visit ruralmutual.com to learn more.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers could be back at the practice field tomorrow as they prep for their preseason opener on Saturday against Cleveland. And Wisconsin was back on the field this morning down in Platteville as fall camp continues. Badgers quarterback competition is still ongoing between transfer Tyler Van Dyke and sophomore Braden Locke. Wisconsin will hold a practice open to fans on Saturday. They open the season 3 weeks from Friday against Western Michigan. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, Print.
Welcome back in. Good to have you, the Bill Michaels Show. We are on the air. I say we. Joining me here at the in the booth inside the Goose Island Ale House, Mike Clemens is hanging out. How you doing, pal? Up. There we go.
Testing 1, 2, 3. I'm good. I'm good. I'm really good.
Yeah.
How are you? Welcome back. It looked like you had a good vacation. It's good for you to get away, and now you're locked in till Super Bowl, right?
We don't
Pretty much.
we don't have any time off now between now and Super Bowl. We head to New Orleans. So.
Well, they put the pads on while you were gone, and they got some pretty good work done. The team looks tremendous. But can I first, before we get into the Packers, and I know when I come on, people say, "Oh, great, let's listen to the Packers." And if you folks just give me a second, Bill got to go to Fenway Park, and I got to earlier this year when the Brewers played.
Yeah.
So that's how I got my ticket, and I covered it, and then I sent all the interviews that you guys played back on the show when they played that weekend series against the Red Sox in Boston. So there's a couple of times I have tried to go see a game at Fenway and as a fan, and I got rained out and other kinds of things. So finally, I saw that opportunity. It's like, man, I don't have any mini camps or OTAs. I'm going to Boston. So, I mean, there it is. And it's very similar, I think, to Wrigley Field, which many of our listeners have had a chance to experience down in Wrigleyville. But it's even better, isn't it? When you walk up to that ballpark, the businesses that are around there.
It's so interesting
walking in
because you don't give your ticket at the entrance to the ballpark. You give your ticket at the entrance to the street adjacent to the ballpark.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I saw them setting up those crates before every game.
So because the streets are considered a part of the stadium.
Yeah.
So you don't give, like when you go into the gate at the ballpark and you give them your ticket, no, it's you scan it when you walk through because then you're a part of the street party.
Across the street is a giant Boston Red Sox gift shop.
Yes.
Giant. And it's been there forever.
The team shop. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And you see tours leaving.
Right.
A couple hours before, Tim Dillard, who's the analyst who calls the games, a former Brewer pitcher, he took his family. He brought, I mean, that's what that weekend was like. A lot of people brought their whole family, their kids. They took the full tour. And there I am with this opportunity, thanks to this show, down there in the home dugout, talking to Tim Dillard.
Right.
Just down there with our jaws open. And there's the Green Monster.
Right.
And there's the Sitco sign. And I said, what is it, man? He goes, I don't know, but it's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just feel it. Maybe it's the color of the green on the wall. Maybe it's just looking back and seeing those stands and understanding this is still baseball from 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And when you go in the press box, they have black and whites from 1919, 1920.
Yeah.
You know, old-fashioned big black and white cameras, you know, like they used in the Civil War.
Exactly, yeah.
But they show you how that thing was built, and you still see that basic frame
The
and
same
structure
footprints always existed. Yeah.
over with the brick and all that. And it's I mean, and then you get to the game. And up in the press box hangs right over home plate.
Yeah. You're looking down on it.
American Family Field's fantastic facility. But the press box is way back because they got a whole lot more seats
Right.
to make some money.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You're looking right down over home plate. And you see all the names on the wall from the guys that covered the game, like Peter Gannon.
Yep.
You know, all that from the Boston Globe. All those
Right.
great writers. Dan Ryan. Right. And then they had even little competitions that's going like back in the 90s. Sports Writer of the Month. Who beat who? You know, it's great Boston area sports writers. And you're looking down the plate. And then all of a sudden you look up and you under the lights, because the games that we saw were under lights. Well, you saw Yankees and Red Sox. Primetime game.
I've never seen, and I know Brewers fans don't like Cubs fans. I know Packers fans and Bears fans clash. I know Packers fans and Vikings fans. You don't know rivalry until you see Red Sox Yankees. And I could not believe how many Yankees fans were there. You know, there was a lot of Yankees fans, a lot of Yankees jerseys.
Not a gray.
but the chanting back and forth was blatant.
Oh, wow.
Yankees suck. Yankees suck. You know,
Wow.
The Yankees fans, for the most part, cheered for their own team.
Yeah.
And that night they won, I think 8-3. They beat the hell out of the Red Sox. But Red Sox fans let the Yankees have it. I mean, in no uncertain terms. I mean, and it was loud and deafening.
So
and
did that kind of ruin the night for you?
No, it enhanced it because it was the epitome of a rivalry. It was the epitome of baseball. I got to see. I think the guy's name's Ryan Schneider or whatever. One of their Boston Red Sox players hit one over the Green Monster and out into the streets. I got to see another one into the Green Monster seating area, and then I got to see 2 or 3 of them bound 3/4 of the way up the wall, and then see how guys would play it coming off of the wall. But for me, 2 things. One is I was sitting in the 1800 seats, and that is the seats that have been there since 1800. They're not allowed to replace them. They're not allowed to repair them. Cool. Once they break, they're out of circulation.
Nice job getting those tickets, big unit.
So that was extremely cool. But all I kept thinking was Cesar Geronimo making the third out, catching the ball, the fly ball in center field, and jumping up and down as the Cincinnati Reds won the 1975 World Series.
Yeah.
The Carlton Fisk waving it fair. And they show that. When they go through the history, as they start to show and now here are the Boston Red Sox, you know, they show Carlton Fisk and all the great moments in Fenway.
And you're a 10-year-old kid in Cincinnati watching this,
right?
Staying up,
and I'm watching that. And then I go back to when I started my first, early sports broadcast, and I had Sparky Anderson on, and he's telling me the story of that home run, and that, and I've told this 1,000 times, so I apologize, but after the game, he's dejected. Sparky's like, I think we just lost the World Series. Game 7 at Fenway. I don't know if we can do this.
Yeah.
And down the hall, as they start to walk towards the buses, down the hall comes Pete Rose. And Pete Rose is giddy, and he's talking, and he's jumping around. And Sparky looks at me and says, Peter Edward Rose, what the hell is wrong with you? We just lost Game 6. Pete's like, that was an incredible game. What a game. And he said, but don't you realize what just happened? He looks at him, and I can't use the language, but he said, Skip, F that. We're going to win tomorrow night. Yeah. But what a game.
Yeah.
And then they went on to win the World Series.
Yeah.
And, Pat McAnally and Zachary and all those guys. And it was Bench and Morgan and Perez and Dave Concepcion, Rose at third, Griffey, Cesar Geronimo, and then George Foster. That was their team. But that's what I was thinking back to.
Even the visiting team knew that they were part of absolute magical history.
Yep.
So the other thing is that you're in that press box. We had moonlight. You guys had some showers that night.
We had a few showers, but they didn't delay the game.
And about halfway through the game, listen, they're playing Sweet Caroline, the band next door, while we talk about Fenway. How crazy is that? That's what they use for the 7th inning stretch out there, or 8th inning, I think. When you're up that press box, you're looking down. The lighting is perfect.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a sliver moon over right field and the Prudential building looking over.
Yep.
And then there's this breeze, Bill. I'm like, where is that coming from?
Yeah.
It's off the ocean.
Yeah.
There's this ocean breeze.
Yep.
And so a lot of these stadiums, one of the worst is US Bank, where the Vikings play. They pound the music and the sound effects so much that by the third quarter of a Vikings game, I think they have fatigued their fans. I mean, it's relentless. It's too much. I am a rock and roll guy, man.
Right.
Cheap Trick and all these bands like you introduced, here at the Budweiser Pavilion.
Right.
I like it loud, but for 3 hours at a ball game, and to me, the presentation on the screens, like you mentioned, a little more so subdued, and you can't help but pay attention to the game.
Yeah.
To the game.
Yep.
Not shooting the T-shirts. It's just you can't help but focus on the game. And that's the thing I think I appreciated the most. Plus, the ballpark Franks are pretty good, too.
Yeah, the ballpark Frank was good. So that was Sunday night. I was still eating, but starting not to at that point. So, it worked out well, and it was a great experience. But we spent the day in Boston, went through Faneuil Hall, and walked around all the shops over there. And then from there, we went to, it's the oldest restaurant in Boston. It's a seafood place that's built on pilings in the harbor.
Not that legal place with the big glass. No, that's the new modern place.
No. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I'll think of it during the break. And then we just walked around. So we got there. We got the Boston into the ballpark. We parked at about noon, and then caught an Uber and went to the other side over where Faneuil Hall is and walked around.
That's smart.
And did all of that.
How much did parking cost, Bill?
Parking was $55.
So here's what I do. Here's what I did. I got a rental. They gave me a Jeep Ranger Jeep.
Yeah,
it was fun to putz around in. But I parked out in the burbs at a train station. Took the train in.
A lot of people do that,
which was free and just a 2-block walk to the ballpark. And I would recommend that because the parking if you think parking is tough at Wrigley, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy
at Fenway Park.
We got parking because we were there so early.
Right.
But by the time we came back from dinner, going to the game, which was probably 5 o'clock, 5:30,
right,
when we got back over there, when we took the Uber back. So it was an Uber it was a parking for 55, an Uber for 22 over, an Uber for 22 back.
Yeah, it's an expensive day.
It's not a cheap day.
Ross Tucker, the former Giants lineman who has been on the show, now he's doing analysis for CBS on the NFL games. Frequent guy on the show. He's got this great thing where he always reviews press box food.
Right.
So I'm going to give Ross my press box food review of at Red Sox. Maybe the best food ever. Jerry Jones puts on a pretty good spread actually when we covered Cowboys games.
Yeah.
Packers do a fine job, but they had this smoked salmon with a whole veggie salad bar. I mean, fancy salad bar stuff. Roasted broccoli, wrapped in bacon. And I mean, it was at least $150 meal that we paid the MLB rate of $12 for.
Right.
And I mean, it was and the ice cream machine, dessert plate, make your own soda. I mean, just crazy food. Boston might be the best market in the country for food.
Well,
next
it's
to
a
New York
sports
and
town.
San
I'll tell you
Francisco.
that. It's a crazy sports town.
Yeah. Yeah.
They love the Celtics. They love the Bruins. They love the Red Sox. They love the Patriots. I mean, it's a crazy.
So if you ever want to see a Red Sox game at Fenway, we recommend it. I say do the parking out in the burbs and take the free train downtown. To save yourself some cash that way. But it's unique. And get there early and maybe take the tour of the stadium before as well.
That I would recommend, because when you go up in the press box, I mean, like I said, the first thing I saw when I walked in was the picture of Carlton Fisk waving at Fair.
Yeah.
That was the first thing, and I went, Then you go look, and you're seeing guys like Louis Tion, who was one of their pitchers, one of their relief pitchers for a long time. And then you start to look at all the different players that they've had over the years. It goes all the way back to Ted Williams and beyond. It's such a cool
Visitors
place.
clubhouse, small.
Yes.
A third of the size of the Brewers clubhouse, back home. But you know something? Over that weekend, when these guys are kind of all elbow to elbow at their chairs in front of their locker, it kind of brings a team together a little bit.
Yep.
It just did. And those players,
it looks old school.
Those players, every one of them, even if it'd been their second or third time there, loved playing in that ballpark.
Yep, it looks old school, but it's pretty cool. You kind of wait to see, like the manager sitting in his office smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer.
Exactly.
It still has that old school feel to it. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We're going to take a quick break. Mike and I are here live at the Wisconsin State Fair. This portion of the program brought to you by our buddy Dwayne at Dwayne's Cover It All. Whether it's a boat cover, upholstery, awnings, he can do it. If you want an awning for your business out front, he can do it. Boat covers, awnings, gym equipment, office furniture, so much more. Go to Dwayne's, DUANES, Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com. That is Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com. More of the Bill Michaels Show live with Mike Clemens right here. We'll talk a lot of Packers coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Jordan Love. Jordan not only developed into one of the game's more exciting playmakers, his steady demeanor and leadership allowed our group to weather the storm and find our confidence as the season moved along. We're working very diligently to sign him to a long-term extension.
Everybody's joining in on the Love Train, and now that he is paid, making money. Jordan Love, the man. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at the Bay Motel in Green Bay. Quiet, cozy, comfortable. Perfect for the family stay. Maybe you want to go into the Bay Family Restaurant, get yourself some grub. You can do that too. That's 365, man. They do it all, and they do all those really good home-cooked meals there. Really, really good stuff. Go to BayMotelGreenBay.com. That is BayMotelGreenBay.com. Highly recommend, and they always bring you Mike Clemens, who joins us right here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Jordan Love, we kind of figured that after we left town, it would break, and sure enough, it did. Jordan Love got paid. You look at the numbers, and at first you're like, wow, the $55 million, he's now, tied with the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. And then you start to look at it and go, wait, this is not a bad deal for the Packers. It's a good deal for both.
Yeah.
Because if he's not the real deal, they can get out in 3 years. He's not ripping out a bunch of percentage-wise of salary from everybody else in this contract. The guaranteed money, they're front-loading the hell out of it with a payment by December. It's kind of like the Packers have done this before.
Yeah. And there's that moment when Brian Gutekunst surprised the world and he takes the quarterback instead of a wide receiver or something to help out Aaron Rodgers as a weapon. Aaron has that little sit-out, he makes it known, and he goes out and earns 2 MVPs with the kid on the bench. And I don't like to just say, wow, this is just like Favre to Rodgers. Now it's just like Rodgers to Love, because I don't want that template. But you can't help but recognize the same things that have happened to get Jordan Love ready. Because everyone has asked this question, do you really pay a guy historic money to be the highest paid quarterback ever after 8 games last season? Aren't you taking a risk? And the answer to that is they like the kid a lot from the start. He got through a COVID year where he lost a lot of opportunities. We've heard those stories, but it's the guy. They had 3 years to watch the guy. And that repeats what they did when they went to replace Brett Favre, which to me, I think was even a tougher replacement in 2008 than what we saw in the last year or two with Aaron Rodgers, don't you? That Favre thing was so much more emotional.
It was I've said it before, where Favre got addicted, in my opinion, to the I don't know if I want to play, put everybody through the tractor watch. And
Give me Randy Moss.
Yeah, then he'd come back and he'd go, okay, I'm back. And then everybody would go crazy. Yay, he's back. Until finally Ted Thompson said, no, we got somebody. We're good.
In 2007, Aaron Rodgers had been there now going into his third season. And so every day I was at practice, I looked at 4 and 12 in the red jerseys and I said, I don't know anything about these guys. I'm going to watch every drill. I'm going to watch every snap. And when we got to Labor Day, I told you, 12 is the better quarterback.
Yeah. Yep.
He's more accurate. He's quicker on his feet. Now, Brett had a tremendous year. He went 13-3 with a young team, a team he said during a press conference, this might be the youngest team I've ever been on, but they might be the most talented. And he's talking about Greg Jennings and this new kid, James Jones, coming on, and all the other weapons that he had. And they had a great year, and they lost to the Giants in the cold.
Right.
And then the Packers didn't call him back, and then we know the rest of the saga in the spring of 2008, and Brett deciding to retire, Jets, and then the Vikings.
Right.
This in 2022, Aaron came in. He skipped the mini camps, for whatever, But he came to the mandatory mini camp and looked in tremendous shape. And during then, he said, "I want to finish a Packer. I'm all set. We got that new deal, $60 million, all that." During that training camp in 2022, it turned out to be his last. On family night, which we just had over the weekend, there's Aaron walking around coming out and taking pictures with everybody's family. He usually didn't do that.
Nope.
After family
we
night,
talked about that.
got
too,
in the car and drove away. I posted those pictures. Like, is this the beginning of a farewell tour or what? Other little things that happened along the way. I still thought he was coming back. I was stunned that he went into the darkness retreat and decided to call his agent and say, yeah, let's go to the Jets. I'm stunned. I was stunned by that. Nevertheless, in that camp, I couldn't see it. If you watch Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers throw into those bags in the net in a drill, Aaron Rodgers is 10 for 10. Jordan Love is 8 for 10. If they're throwing that bucket down in the corner like they did the other night, family night, Aaron Rodgers is the one that's nailing it.
Right.
Jordan Love, so much. So, Jordan Love may never be as good as Aaron Rodgers at the drills, at the accuracy, but he's playing the offense.
We talked about that earlier.
How many times did you see wide open guys, like wide open tight ends? Because he's doing what the play was called. He's not constantly making these complicated adjustments.
We were talking about that earlier, and it's not a backhanded slap to Rodgers, but it may be insinuated as one. But you wonder, had they just run the offense and not worried about somebody coming up to my level and being on my mentality and shoulder tugs and all that crap, if they just ran the offense, how much better they might have been.
We're going to find out this year with the Jets. In the meantime, Matt LaFleur was asked. I said, look, it took Aaron 3 years, but then he was ready in 2007. He had to sit one more year and watch Brett. Could Jordan Love have taken over for Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago?
You've seen a lot of flashes. He always had the talent. There's a reason he was drafted in the first round. I mean, the talent was always there. It's just the consistency which he would go out there and perform. Obviously, there's a lot to learn when you come to this level, not only fundamentally for the quarterback, but from a protection standpoint and having complete command of the offense. As time went on, he got more and more intentional about his work. And you could see him learning and doing different things each and every day. But for us, I would say that 22 season, you could just see more and more from him in regards to, I thought he had a pretty good, although the numbers didn't say it, I thought he had a pretty good preseason in terms of how we evaluate the quarterback. And it's all process-based, not result-based. And then what he would do in scout team periods. I thought he did a great job of putting a lot of stress on our defense and making throws. And quite frankly, I think that's when you can experiment. Super intentional about the work he put in.
Well, so when you see Aaron Rodgers walking off the field in his last game as a Packer with Randall Cobb, his arm around him, to me, Bill, that's like, you know what? I know the kid's ready.
Yeah.
Because you guys haven't seen what he's doing in practice squad.
Right.
I know the kid's, he's just like me, third year, he's ready.
I think the big question mark, and we were talking about this earlier as well, is he gets paid. What he did last year, specifically in that 10-game stretch, was phenomenal. The numbers he put up, and I mean the era that he was in was great. Now the question is, you got paid. for 3/4 of a season, massive amounts of money. There's always that sophomore slump mentality of a lot of fans to say, now let's see if you can do it again. But the money's going to add pressure. What he did last year is going to add pressure. The Packers are being picked as one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFC is going to add pressure.
Defense has spent the whole year watching his tape.
Right. Defensive coordinators have watched tells and things that he may do. I wonder how, for Jordan Love, how difficult a year this will be.
So I brought this up to Jordan after he signed the contract about, could you have gone 2 years ago in 2022, your third year here, just like Aaron did, following Brett? And how much pressure do you feel now to perform now that you're the highest paid quarterback in the NFL?
Kind of goes into mental, how you can, handle some of the stuff that's thrown at you and just try and be at your best every day. But there's always pressure. There's no hiding that. But I don't think this, I've been in some pretty pressure situations, so I think there's always going to be that. But just find a way to navigate through this and handle it as best I can.
I can tell you that Aaron, by year 3, his training camp, he looked ready behind Brett. But Brett had another year there. Today, Matt said, Jordan's camp in 22 and your scout teamwork, you looked ready. Did you feel that way?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think when I first got here, not having my first training camp with COVID, OTAs, with COVID, there was definitely a lot thrown at you your rookie year. And I felt that. Definitely felt I wasn't ready. And, there was just so much learning that was going on. And I wasn't feeling like the player I was in college to be able to play fast and all those things. And, year 2 coming back, I felt a little bit more prepared. But I definitely think by year 3, I was ready. I was ready to take over, ready to get on the field and ready to just go out there and showcase what I've been working on.
So one thing I had talked about a little bit earlier is today as well, but I think he had success when the offensive line got together. He had success when the pass catchers got together. Aaron Jones came back and started running the ball extremely well. Then Aaron Jones has been jettisoned. They went with a younger version of Aaron Jones, a guy that can really run and pound north-south and has breakaway speed. Then Josh Jacobs gets a little bit of the hamstring tweak. You're worried about that a little bit. Didn't seem to affect him, though, on family night.
Yeah, well, he was Jacobs was able to participate in the drills, but I think they kept him on the 11-on-11,
right?
Just to play it safe. The other thing I found interesting about this was when we got to talk to Gutekunst one-on-one down in Indianapolis at the Combine in February. At the end of the day, he's like, biggest thing we've got to do is sign Jordan Love. We're good. We're set. We like what we've got already. Got some ideas in free agency. That's before they lost Aaron Jones in free agency.
Right.
And they pulled a bunny out of their hat by getting this running back out of the Raiders.
Right.
So this what I thought was very interesting because Kenny Clark said the talks for my contract, which I signed about a week before camp, started back in February. It's still that old school. The agents get together with these teams and the GMs and they're running the hallways and you see these guys having these meetings upstairs in the hotel.
Yeah.
Still the old school. So now here's Jordan Love, who has to sit out for a week, do not participate, while they're still haggling over his contract, while they wait for Tua to sign in Miami, whatever effect that had on the final numbers for Green Bay. But I asked Jordan, Kenny said it was, to start these talks in February and drag on all through spring and finally get signed, in late June. It was tough. The longer it goes, it's like, why can't they get this done? What was it like for you, Jordan Love?
No, I think, something that we always said that they would try and get done before training camp, but, I don't think it picked up until after OTA. So I wasn't, going through the same situation as Kenny. But, with some of these things, it just takes time. There's a lot of back and forth. But no, I wasn't, my situation, I don't feel was that long.
So that means the Packers started talking to Kenny Clark at Combine. Then they go through the draft, and then they did the same thing they do every year. Once they got all their draft picks, they go 7th round, they sign the 6th, they sign the 5th, they sign the 4th. So they get to the top, and it's Jordan Morgan, and you sign him, the rookie, the first-round pick. Then they move on to Kenny Clark. Then the big one at the very end. That's always the way they do it. Because, like, when Russ Ball gets up to Kenny Clark and then to Jordan Love, he, pulls his pockets out of his pants like a bunny.
Yeah.
So that's all I got left. He's talking to the agents from Athletes First. Oh, I had to pay all those other guys. I got nothing left.
Right, exactly. And I can see him actually doing that.
Here's the fun fact. Jordan's getting $155 million guaranteed out of a $220, contract for 4 years. We all know about the advantages that is. The $75 million signing bonus he got.
Yeah.
Pure cash homie, right? He has 17 wide receivers and tight ends in camp right now. 17.
Mm-hmm.
Those 17 guys are splitting up $18 million. They're a bunch of $1 million receivers.
Right.
Jerry Jones is down there sweating bullets because he's got to sign CeeDee Lamb for $37 million. Who would you rather be right now?
Absolutely. You'd rather be the Packers. Rather be the Packers. You keep, as contracts come, depending, and we'll talk about that, but it's kind of like you don't have Pro Bowlers all over at receiver, but you've got good guys that can make great plays at key moments as a core group.
And you got your quarterback locked up.
I got to do this real quick. So for those watching on camera, I'm going to do this. And look at that. Look at that. That is what they are. It was a runner-up in the Sporky competition here at the Wisconsin State Fair. That is 2 Quick Trip Glazers for a bun, a piece of melted Swiss cheese over the glazer with
honey-baked ham
on there with ham, and then like a raspberry type of sauce over the ham. And that is the runner-up to the Sporky Awards. They say it's absolutely delicious. I have not had it yet. I can't have it today. My colon is cramping up looking at it.
The show's over at 2:01.
But you, my friend,
be on by 2:06.
Yeah, you can indulge in that. All the face first, like you go to the electric chair later tonight. All right, let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break. Come back. More Mike Clements live here at the Wisconsin State Fair next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Everybody knows if it's summer season, it's festival season. And Potawatomi has the winningest one, WinFest. You could make it an awesome August with a share of $500,000. Play with your rewards card for entries. Hourly drawings every Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. $25,000 in cash and prizes each drawing. It's the $500,000 WinFest. Get in on the fun. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. More info at pacebig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
No, it's been good. Training camp's been good so far. Great practice, going against a great defense every day. A lot of great competition, but that receiver room, tight end room, all those playmakers, man, they're looking great. I'm very excited about what we got building and just a lot of those guys, taking that next step and building on what we did last year. So I'm very excited.
Welcome back. Good to have you. The Bill Michaels Show live at the Wisconsin State Fair. This portion of the program brought to you by our buddy Gino and the gang down at Calderon Club in San Giorgio, 838 Old World, 3rd Street downtown. Terrific Italian food and great pizza at San Giorgio. Either place you cannot go wrong. Right across the street from the Hyatt Hotel. Stop in, tell them we said hi. Great place to go for dinner. Mike Clemens joining us here inside our studio at the Goose Island Ale House inside the Bud Pavilion. Jordan Love gets paid. Now I guess it's time to put up or shut up, so to speak. But you talk about a guy that's confident. You know what I mean? He's got a lot. He's got a lot of moxie. I think he showed it in that because I was asked earlier today, can he throw the team on his back? He's got a lot of moxie. He showed it against the Saints.
Yeah.
In that game last year where he brought him back from 18 points down and ended up winning the ball game. And at that point, I said, okay. The nerves, the moxie, that's there. Now it just has to be the accurate physical capability of running an offense. And then he went into Dallas, and that didn't faze him. And going to Levi Stadium didn't faze him. So I believe now it's just honing your skill.
I believe in December, he just like, what the hell? And I think he got into a zone and just started to chuck it, to let it rip, so to speak. And this September, he's going to have to balance that. He's going to have to protect the football. He's going to have to understand the defenses are going to look differently than he thought.
Right.
But he's still got to have that confidence that he had going into December and January. Jordan Love, a year ago at this time, couldn't hit any deep balls. He's hitting them in practice now. He'll hit Christian Watson down the left sideline for 47 yards with Eric Stokes, who looks good.
Yeah.
Back after 2 years of injury, the speed and all that. So he's putting on a show there. There's Dontavian Wicks. Bam. Romeo Doubs looks terrific. Romeo Doubs looks terrific over the middle. And then you got Jaden Reed, your leading receiver from last year. That's the smart kid.
Yeah.
Jaden Reed, 11, that's the go-to guy. That's the guy who's going to make that adjustment, and maybe pick up something at the line of scrimmage. Say, hey, look, the safety moved.
Yeah.
He'll make that adjustment. So he's got all these weapons, and he's looking good. You've heard a lot about interceptions. Don't worry about it. By the way, I think Jeff Havley's got a bunch of pass interference calls coming this way.
Right.
I mean, those they're aggressive. They're all over. You know, on the one-on-ones on family night in front of 60, 70,000 people, they were hanging all over. Jair's hanging all over Malik Heath.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so they're very physical, but we like that aggressiveness for now in practice. One thing I saw, though, in a practice was, okay, everybody's covered. And here's Rashawn Gary. Oh, man, that guy's rushing. He's in the backfield every single snap. He looks like he did 2 years ago, you know, in that contract here. Jordan is trying to dodge him, is off to his left, and off his left-hand side throws a sidearm ball about 14 yards down the left-hand sidelines. And there's Josh Jacobs, his new receiver. Great hands, picks up, understand he's got to be the safety valve. And instead of being nailed 15 yards and having to punt, it's 1st and 10.
Right.
And I asked Jordan Love about that chemistry he's got with his new running back, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. Obviously, you know, the play broke down pretty quickly and kind of just got into scramble mode right there and trying to find an outlet. And Josh is right there. But I think Josh is, you know, since he's been here, he's got phenomenal hands. And, you know, you definitely see that he wants to be involved in the pass game and get out. And obviously, you know, I heard some stuff that he hasn't got his receiving touchdown yet. So that's something that we'll be working on this year. But, no, it's definitely been awesome just connect with him and, you know, getting him caught up on everything. And he's going to be a great weapon for us this year.
So Josh, you know, exit out Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs comes in, and listening to Josh Jacobs early on, he's glad to be a Packer. He wants to win a championship. I mean, it's a lot of things that he's saying, like he's really impressed. It's like night and day coming out of the Raider organization, coming into the Packers organization. He's with a quarterback that he can kind of relate to. It's just going to be, can he be – Aaron Jones was such a leader and kind of helped the leadership with Jordan Love. I wonder if Josh Jacobs, as a veteran, a guy that they paid as a free agent to come in and be that running back, will he kind of help Jordan Love along, or how's that relationship?
I expect Jacobs to be a little outspoken.
Yeah.
He also said, like a year ago, the Raiders did not respect the running back position. They were going to probably franchise tag me.
Yeah.
He started shopping a year ago, and he watched when they against the Packers. He said, that's a team I'd like to be a part of.
Yeah.
Look at that quarterback. Look at the potential. And so Josh Jacobs was asked, you know, what's your relationship, your chemistry like with the quarterback, Jordan Love, so far in Green Bay?
I think we're pretty good, man. Me and Jordan, we kick it outside of football. So, you know, like we talk even like helping me like find a house and all of that things. Like we talk about a lot of things. And, you know, from the mental standpoint, I mean, he's as sharp as he's going to be. And, you know, I think that him not coming in and throwing this stuff is not going to really change his game. He's still out there seeing it all. He's still going through film study and, you know, developing and doing all his reads. So I think he's going to be all right. Like I said, man, I mean, I can't really speak for him and how he feels. But, I mean, just me on the outside looking in, I think, you know, he deserves what he's going to get.
So my question with the running back position is, who's going to be the backup? Is A.J. Dillon coming in shape, having the ripped abs and the whole thing and kind of rededicating himself to football? Is he the odds-on favorite to be that second guy?
I think so. Emmanuel Wilson is back for a second year. He won the spot in the roster last year. Marshawn Lloyd out of USC was a draft pick who's been out with a hip.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets back in this week and hopefully can play against the Browns Saturday night in their first preseason game. But everyone's talking about A.J. Dillon and how much better shape he looks in.
Right.
You know, he looks like Quadzilla. And we talked to both Matt LaFleur and A.J. Dillon about how he came into camp.
I don't feel any outside pressure. Like I'm so at peace with just I worked my tail off, and I know I'm working harder than I've ever worked ever. And so with that, there's no pressure. And like I said, two yards or 2,000 yards, I know that I'm doing everything that I can, everything that I know, and trying to use every resource that I can, and just also have fun with it and enjoy this process, man. To play in the NFL, play year 5 as a running back, that's a feat of itself. But, you know, it's not even close to the end of the story. I'm not pressing the panic button. I'm not worried. I'm just coming out here, having fun, enjoying the process, and striving to get better every day.
This is the best I've seen him, hands down. And I think he would tell you the same. I think it's just a testament to the work that he's put in. He came back in great shape. I mean, shoot, I was joking with him the other day. You can see the abs on him, and that's hard for a big man to do. But yeah, he looks like he's in great shape. I think he's in a great place mentally. We know what he's capable of doing. I think he's in a really good position to show his best.
They picked up Josh Jacobs. Then they went to the defensive side of the football, and they bring in Xavier McKinney. And as much as we talk about the offense and Jordan Love, I think this year, this defense changing to the new Jeff Hafley style, the more aggressive approach like you had mentioned. I look at a guy like Xavier McKinney, many seem to think one of the best safeties in the league, that the Packers, yet another steal that Brian Gutekunst was able to grab and to bring him in to solidify the secondary. This might, if Jair and Stokes stay healthy, if Bullard is able to fill the bill, Keyshawn Nixon and such and company, and then Xavier McKinney, this may end up being one of the best secondaries in football.
Playing alongside him, I think it's Javon Bullard that's going to be first.
Yeah.
Evan Williams is going to be second, like a 5th-round pick. And Anthony Johnson, who got onto the field last year at safety. That's the competition. That's the depth there. But X, as they call him, Xavier McKinney, man, I think he had LaFleur sold on dinner the night before he signed. That's just the way he brings it. And we talked to Xavier about how does he think the secondary is looking so far going through family night.
It looks great, man. We got a lot of smart guys, a lot of instinctual guys, and guys that just make plays on the ball. So it's great having a whole bunch of guys that, go get after the ball, that are smart, and that we always communicate, man, and it's been fun. Great organization, great team. Obviously, I played them last year, played them last 2 years, and just saw what they had, something special. And I just wanted to be a part of that, so I'm glad to be here. I appreciate all you guys, and
I like the fact the secondary is going to be good, but I also think the secondary is going to be good because of what they have up front. I think, TJ Slayton really came on last year. Kenny Clark is Kenny Clark. He's always going to be solid. You talked about Rashawn Gary looking the way he looked a couple of years ago. Preston Smith is another staunch guy that's been there a while. He's a veteran. He knows it. Then you've got some of the guys that they're going to fill in, including Devontae Wyatt and company. I'm excited as much as I am about the secondary. I'm excited about the defensive front being able to get after quarterbacks and hopefully be more fundamentally sound in stopping the run.
You re-signed Kenny Clark. Devontae Wyatt's doing good. And, Jordan Morgan, your first-round pick, they've been running him a lot at right guard. Mm-hmm. And he actually had some pretty good reps Saturday night against Kenny Clark, against some of the other guys. Who gave him trouble was TJ Slayton because he's so big.
Yeah.
He's such a mass.
He started to really play well at the end of last season.
Yeah,
too.
and that could free up Kenny Clark if he can really take up some of those blocks. So afterwards, Kenny Clark was interviewed live on TV, and guess who stepped in and grabbed the microphone? It's Jair Alexander hijacking the interview. Here's Kenny Clark, your team captain on defense.
Man, I love it, man. We playing fast and physical. That's the motto. So we got to just keep on doing that, keep putting it in the work.
And we look forward to you guys getting after it this year. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Yep.
I'm just here to tell you, Pack is back.
As long as he doesn't do it on game day.
I guess so.
As long as he doesn't do it on
practice.
Game day, right? He's still Jair being Jair. There you have it. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Stay tuned. Going to wrap it up, but we're going to continue on, talk a little kicking coming up next on the Bill Michaels Show.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
At Road America, it's racing at its finest. The Road America 2024 Season Pass is the most affordable motorsports entertainment option in Wisconsin. You have access to over 50 days of on-track action at America's National Park of Speed, the SCCA Vintage Weekend, Superbikes, IndyCars, IMSA, and more. It's all at Road America. And don't forget about the great offers for vets, military members, students, groups, and corporate opportunities as well. Go to roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Road America, America's National Park of Speed.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
This new kickoff thing is going to be fun and confusing and different, and a lot of questions are going to arise regardless of what position we're talking about. So, see what happens.
Welcome back to the program. Speaking of the State Fair, we're broadcasting live at the Wisconsin State Fair. But when you play that song by Paul Revere and the Raiders, the Kick song,
yeah,
I saw them my very first year in 1999 over here at the amphitheater. You know,
Great
the
show.
Theater.
They had the 1776 hats and stuff
Yes,
like that.
they came out dressed as kind of like pirates.
Yeah.
The one thing I will remember is you never want to see men in their 60s in spandex pants. Because that was sloppy junk right there. That was not
Well,
good.
it's about the age of our founding fathers.
Yes, you brought back the flashbacks for
Sure.
me. Herman's here tonight too. So
Peter Noon,
great
guy.
Yeah, there you go.
Great. He loves Milwaukee.
Yep.
We used to have him on the radio all the time. Speaking of kicks, I mean, if people haven't heard this, do you realize now you have to declare it's an onside kick? You have to tell the refs, okay, we're going to kick an onside kick. You can't do it to the fourth quarter, and you have to be the losing team. You can't come out in the second half like at the Super Bowl, like Sean Payton did with the Saints, and surprise the world and go with it. That's all gone now.
That strategy's gone.
Declare.
Yeah.
And Rich Bisaccia has to work on this new kickoff. And oh, by the way, Anders Carlson still doesn't have their faith.
Right.
Because even though I think he went overall something like 8 for 9 or something on Saturday night, at least the ones we could judge through the uprights, he had a day last week, I think it was Thursday, 3 for 6.
Yeah.
3 for 6.
And the sweet spot that we had talked about last year was the 3 kicks that he missed in camp last week.
Greg Joseph, the veteran who turned 30 yesterday, former Vikings kicker, he had a miss, and he talked about what his mindset is when he has to deal with that.
Ball's gone. So, missed one in a row, missed 2 in a row. Ball's gone. On to the next one. The next kick is the most important kick.
That's kind of like a closer in baseball.
You know Martin Short, the actor?
Yeah.
Does a lot of stuff with Steve Martin.
Yeah.
You know that nervous character that Martin Short does? That's Greg Joseph.
Is it really?
He's not the guy.
Okay.
You know what they did? They brought in a 30-year-old who's been in the leagues now for 7 years.
Right.
Dolphins, Cowboys, bunch of teams, right? They want Anders to watch this. Okay, here's a guy who's survived the league. I don't think he's going to get the job. I think he's there to just get in his head.
Right.
And he's not there to teach. As a matter of fact, Greg Joseph was said, do you feel like, you need to be a mentor to Anders Carlson? and making one from 55 the other night, like he did the other night.
I didn't even know we were that far back, to be honest, because I'm just like, and I'm not trying to sound any type of way, just my mindset is just locked in at wherever they put the ball down. That's I get my line, I get my aiming point, and put my foot through the ball, the same as if it was a PAT or the same if it was a 65-yarder.
So just do it.
Yeah, there was a long discussion at the locker Saturday night about that with him, and I don't know if he realized it, but Rich Bisaccia, a great guy, a longtime coach. He talked, but he's got this whole other method thing going on from a college coach that he had, and it's like, man, we were on Ryan Longwell, we were on Mason Crosby, both great golfers besides clutch kickers.
Yeah,
and I just. I just don't see how he's going to be the guy. They're trying to do everything they can to make Anders Carlson,
the guy.
In the meantime, Rob Domofsky said that they're bringing in another kicker for a workout. It's a guy named Gladdinger. He had kicked for the Cowboys 2 years ago. He kicked 162 yards when he played for Texas Tech a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the UFL for the last year. So they're still looking at kickers.
Right.
Even though they're down to 2 on the roster right now.
And it's not vital until it's vital. You don't notice the kicker until they miss.
Yeah, they got 3 preseason games before they take the Eagles on down in Brazil.
Anything concerning you right now with the Packers, other than maybe the kicking game?
No, not really. No, it's unbelievable how well the group is together.
Yeah.
I think they're going to use Jordan Morgan at right guard, but who knows? Maybe when it gets to be the week of the Eagles, they put in Sean Ryan at right guard. Because you know what I remember of? Remember they had this great rookie named Elton Jenkins?
Yeah.
But they started Lane Taylor first until he got creamed by the Bears defensive line. Then they slotted him in. Maybe that's what they do with Jordan Morgan. Other than that, man, they've got so many good choices right now.
Right.
And knock on wood on the injuries.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
Heard my guy Caleb Williams look good, too.
He's a gamer, man.
Yeah.
He's
not Caleb Williams, Caleb Jones.
Caleb Jones at right tackle.
Jones,
yeah. He's actually maybe number 2 behind Andre Dillard at right tackle.
Man, they got a
6'9".
plethora of stuff. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. It's
Go
tradition.
face first into that Sporky award-winning ham and cheese and donut conglomeration. There you go. Hey, thanks everybody for being a part of the program today. Everybody for stopping by. Thanks to our friends over here at the Bud Pavilion and the Goose Island Ale House. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, don't forget, I'm going to be in Chippewa Falls. We're going to be with Soda's High Shore Supper Clubs. So a few tickets, I'm told, remain. If they haven't been bought already today, a few tickets still available. And we will see you at Soda High Shore Supper Club tomorrow night if you grab those tickets. Go to quickspirits.com. That's quickspirits.com. Time for us to get out of here.